up, Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, 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 the Russians.
Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots, their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 300th episode of the Devolution Power Hour. And Patrick, I see you're clearly celebrating by wearing that shirt. Holy shit.
You bet I am, my friend. 300 episodes. That means that for 52 weeks a year, 300, right? That means that's freaking nuts, man. Twice a week. And then we've got 52 weeks in a year.
Yes. And then, I mean,
A
I
lot
did
of
some
weeks.
for a while there. I was doing 3 a week, before we started. But yeah.
Of course, but that was not for that long.
Yeah. 300 episodes. Pretty crazy. Chris, how you doing?
I'm great. The horrors persist, of course. I am still persisting. Patrick's shirt looks like Patrick, you look like a walking light bright. You look like the floor. You look like the floor of Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh my God.
Very good.
That's so good. By the way, how was your dance thing yesterday, Patrick?
It was pretty good. I only screwed up like a couple of steps and it went well. And then I did the routine again today at a different studio and I'm getting better at it.
Is it like a competition thing?
Nah, not really. It's more of you're competing against yourself to do a little bit better than last time. But I'm not really good enough
for everybody
yet
else. It was a
to dance
competition
with anybody except for professionals, but I'm getting closer.
Good. I'm just looking forward to the day you're on Dance with the Stars, man.
That will be. I would give anything to go on that show.
Not sure if you'll be the star or the dance professional, but either way.
Obviously, I'd have to be the star. So, guys, hit that thumbs up so I can get famous enough to go on Dancing with the Stars.
That is the goal here. Do please hit that thumbs up. We appreciate that. Tonight should be a good show, though. This is the first Saturday DPH since the election. I know, Chris, you were on the election coverage. We had a blast. But Patrick, we haven't heard from you. A lot of people were worried about you.
I was worried about myself, guys. So leading up to the election, I literally worried myself sick. I knew it had to do with what I was putting myself through emotionally because I had no freaking clue what was going to happen. And I don't know, given all the predictions we've made, I don't think any of us, Chris, I don't think you made predictions. I think you made I think you said this is what I hope happens, or this was what would be a good outcome. John, you made a prediction. I definitely made something similar.
Yeah,
that we needed to see this shit get stolen. Now, the emotional impact of the thing getting stolen right in front of us, I knew that would have been devastating. And so I think it was really, really getting to me emotionally because when they called it for Trump, when I watched that glorious victory speech from the man himself, from the legend, Donald Trump, it was as if I had just been hit by healing rays. It was amazing. My fever broke, my coughing became more healthy sounding. I got out of bed, I could walk, and I'm still a little under the weather, like a little stuffed up, but boy, I feel good.
That's good, man. We'll talk more about this in detail here, but we're also going to talk about Trump's admin choices and some of the stuff going on with that. A lot of shenanigans going on with that. So we'll discuss that. We'll discuss what else do I have? That actually might be like a bulk of what we talk about. Some
Susie
stories.
Wiles.
That's part of the admin choices.
Okay.
The Susan Wiles story, Mike Pompeo. There's a lot of tangents we can go on with this. So those are the two main topics: the election, narrative surrounding that, and then some admin choices, narrative surrounding that, some stories, some background. Should be interesting. Plenty to talk about tonight. Before we do any of that, Patrick, do you want to take us through our two sponsors?
Damn straight I do. Field of Greens. We all have two ages: our true age and our biological age. Our biological age suggests how healthy or unhealthy we are inside. You want your bio age years younger than your true age. Let me tell you how Field of Greens is helping me to do that. Field of Greens is an organic superfood fruit and vegetable drink unlike any other. It's a serious nutrition. Listen to this. Field of Greens was approved for a university study that doctors believe may lower your body's biological age. That generally means better health. Each fruit and vegetable in Field of Greens was selected by doctors to support vital body functions like heart, liver, kidneys, metabolism, immune system. Only Field of Greens is backed by this better health promise. At your next physical or checkup, your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back. Join me in better health with 15% off and free shipping. Visit fieldofgreens.com and use promo code JOHN, J-O-N. That's promo code JOHN at fieldofgreens.com, fieldofgreens.com.
Gotta love some Field of Greens. Still take that shit every day. I recommend you do too. And then we also got Mr. David Becker.
Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Fall is the time of open enrollment and also when insurance companies send out their annual rate increases. For many, the high cost of medical insurance is about to get even worse. David Becker and his son Jesse of Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance are here to help you get the best possible PPO insurance coverage at affordable rates. If you think the cost of groceries has exploded, you should see what the hospitals are charging these days. Without the proper PPO protection, you could be liable for tens of thousands of dollars in the event of a surgery or hospital stay. Since 1990, Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance has helped individuals and small businesses get access to nationwide PPOs, which cover both in-network and out-of-network charges in every state. All Cigna PPOs now come with full concierge benefits. If you're stuck paying for your own medical insurance, call David for a free quote at 609-577-8557 or visit badlandsmedia.tv/Becker. And I'm just going to say, John, I have had Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance health insurance for myself and my family. My wife had to go to the hospital, had like a week-long stay in the hospital, and we were treated like freaking royalty, and we paid almost nothing. So strongly recommend this insurance, guys.
Great business, and even a better guy, and looking forward to seeing him at Guard. I think I heard my kids. I'm not sure. I'm going to go check on that real quick. I'll be right back. But do you guys want to start talking about election stuff?
You bet I do.
Sure.
All right, Chris.
Yeah.
We got Donald Trump winning. What did it turn out to be? 313 electoral votes?
I think 312. Let me have a look at what CNN is
right
telling
around
me. Yeah.
there. So we're not talking about a Ronald Reagan landslide. So I don't believe these results.
Well, it's Trump's 2016 electoral map plus Nevada, essentially.
Yeah. They call states without a single precinct reporting. And the voter news service or whatever you call it, the decision headquarters or whatever one of our overlords decided which states win when, they put out their own little release saying, you may be wondering why we call states well in advance of a single effing vote being counted. And here's why. Garble, 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 statistic bullshit. We're liars. And there you go. Suck on it, peasants. And I think that we need to get to the end of that era in our history. So this election was fake, and I'm super, super stoked that my guy won.
Yeah.
I'm down with all that.
It definitely gives us the narrative high ground. And honestly, like I thought they were going to steal it because that would give them the best narrative high ground. And if they have the capability to steal the elections, I thought they'd do that. It's definitely a relief, a feeling of relief to know that he's been declared the winner. It definitely happened in a way like it was too easy almost. Like she just conceded within 24 hours and now we're back to business as usual. And that's kind of part of the problem here. But yeah, him winning, love it. But there's clearly still shenanigans going on. Did you see they just called the race in Arizona for Rubin?
Yep. And tonight they also called a congressional race in Washington for Marie Gluesenkamp Perez over Joe Kent. And, Joe Kent's been kind of a very prominent MAGA character.
Very prominent MAGA. I mean,
for 4 years
real
now.
Patriot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that one's not as surprising being in Washington, right? Or Oregon.
Sure.
Red area.
Reddish. Yeah. He got robbed in 2022 as well. So these examples are out there. My hope was that there would be some more that this was going to take longer and that more attention would be paid to these down ballot races. I mean, the Steele down ballot is something I've been talking about for like a year now. That seems to me to be the ideal outcome for them. The country was not going to believe that Kamala Harris, coming out of nowhere, fake candidate, is going to beat Donald Trump with all the momentum behind Trump, all the momentum going against Biden. So if you're not going to be able to convince the country that Kamala could win, then you can't steal it for her without risking the entire system. And, you know, we think that Donald Trump being president again is the worst possible outcome for the regime. It's not the worst possible outcome. Everybody waking up to the fact that the system is bullshit is the worst possible outcome. That's an unsustainable situation. They can ride out 4 years of Donald Trump. And so what do you do to thwart the awakening process? You give them the winner that all the attention's been put on. Everybody says, okay, these elections are real now. And it's crazy to see how many people have just flipped like in a second and gone from the media telling us like Trump supporters like only respect the outcome of elections when they win, you know, and it's been, no, the elections are fake no matter who wins. Now, all of a sudden people were like, okay, yeah. And Patrick, I know what you're going to say to this, but people were just happy to be like, oh yeah, it's true. We actually only do say it's fake when we lose.
Yeah. There was that graphic, that meme of 2020, you know, like the discrepancy between 2020 and the rest of the elections going out there.
Mm-hmm.
That was circulating for a little bit, but even people were justifying that in a lot of ways, like as being, well, it's still within the realm of statistical possibility, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's a crazy justification. The one justification I actually thought was dead on was like, this is going to even out over time. This is going to get a lot closer. I mean, right now it's at, I think, 146 million total votes between the two of them. And so we're now only a 12 million vote gap over turnout. I mean, all this is all these numbers are bullshit. But the difference is 12 million now. And yeah, yes, exactly. But there's still time to go. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if that was under 10 within the next few days, and probably crept closer to 5. And I don't think that this article is necessarily worth going through, except for just maybe a few paragraphs.
Is it this one? The Trump wins. Yeah, I got that pulled up here.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Trump's win was real, but not a landslide. Here's where it ranks.
The funny thing about this is that you can reverse both the claims made in that headline. The election was not real, and there is a landslide, but only in like the narratively too big to rig sense. The public mandate is vastly and overwhelmingly behind Trump and on Trump's side. Like the TV declaring Trump as the winner, that is like this, they're just conferring this abstract power of title and rank. The real power is with who the military is aligned with and who has the public mandate. And this is true in all of the locations across the world where the global regime is trying to overthrow nations. The public mandate and the military alignment are all that matter. What the TV says about their fake elections is irrelevant.
What you said on your show, was it the day after the election, Wednesday? I thought it was brilliant. It was something like, if elections were real, it's like you probably know what I'm saying. It's like a battle of narratives resulting in a result. But when they're fake, it's still a battle in there. Like you say it, 'cause I don't remember exactly how you said it. But
so if elections are real, if all the votes are properly cast and properly recorded by real, lawful American voters who are casting proper votes, if everything works fine, then the result reported of the election is going to reflect the winner in the battle of narratives. Mm-hmm. And if the elections are completely and totally fake, if the votes can't be trusted at all, if none of it can be trusted, then it's still just a battle of narratives to win over the court of public opinion to make sure that the public mandate and the military alignment are accomplished. Because those are the things that actually matter. The title and the rank of president-elect exist only in that abstract power hierarchy, and they're already trying to destroy those abstractions right now. So
Yeah, let's read through some of this.
Yeah.
Because this is let's just start right here.
What Trump cannot claim is a landslide victory, although that's how he will describe it. As of Saturday, Trump is winning the popular vote with a little more than 74.5 million votes. That looks really familiar. Although millions of votes have yet to be counted in California, Washington, and Utah, among others, the final 2024 popular vote tally likely won't be known until December.
It's insane.
California gets 30 days.
When he lost convincingly in 2020, Trump got a little more than 74 million votes. So while it's true that much of the country moved to the right in this election, it's also true that there was some voter apathy if, at the end of the day, turnout is down from 2020. That doesn't mean this will end up being a low turnout election. What? Okay, how many registered voters are there in the United States? What?
It doesn't matter.
As if we could possibly know such a thing.
Yeah.
The University of Florida Election Lab. Oh my God. University of Florida Public Education. It must be right. Estimates as of Friday that turnout in 2024 will be about 62.3% of the voting eligible population. Not the voting registered population, voting eligible. So people with pulses and American birth certificates, etc., who are eligible to vote, aka 18 and over, down from the high water mark of the modern era of more than 66.4% in 2020, but still above other recent elections. Turnout in 1996 and 2000 was not much over 50% of the voting eligible population.
What do you guys think? Like, curious, what do you guys think the actual turnout is among voting eligible population? I mean, it's impossible to guess, but what?
The answer is zero.
No, like
there was no turnout because there was no election.
No, people went and, like, you voted, I voted. Like, how many people of voting age, like what percentage do you think went and voted this election? I know it was a fake election. That's not what I'm asking.
Even to speculate on that would be pure navel gazing.
Well, then navel gaze. I'm just asking you to give me what you think a number is. Like, I'm not asking you to. I'm not marrying you to this number, Patrick. I'm just curious.
I know that, but I'm telling you that my opinion is useless to speculate. Okay, so let's just say this. Let's say this. Let's assume that there are 150 million registered voters in. See, I'm just already basing it on bullshit.
Yes, let's do it.
150 million registered voters in the United States. Let's go ahead and assume 90% of them voted. Okay.
90%. Wow.
Yep. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, that means you have 135 million actual votes, which is, by the way, less than what we're already seeing. Okay,
wow.
Fine. So maybe the number of registered voters is 200 million. Now let's assume 80% of them turn out. Now we're looking at 160 million votes. How many do I think actually voted? I think it's probably something closer to 100 million people voted.
Really? I mean, I guess that's probably
intensely low numbers.
Chris, what do you think?
Comparison.
Man, I always kind of start at the 2016 to 2020 difference and go with like the 131 that was in their total turnout in 2016, which was probably the most hotly contested election we've ever had, including this one and including 2020. Trump versus Clinton was that everybody was activated for that. And 2020, despite the turnout numbers, people were not activated for that election. No one really cared about Joe Biden. The communists were scared of the very deadly pandemic. And that 27 million turnout number, that never made sense to me. So I figure there's got to be at least the capability for 30 million fake votes. I don't see how that capability went down at all this time. You know, and the other thing that we haven't talked about yet is that when you view this with an understanding of the way the uniparty operates, the idea that Republicans had this big advantage this year. First of all, I don't see where the big advantage is. They took back the Senate in a year where there were a lot of Democrat seats on the line and a president that was hated. And right now they have flipped one seat more than the Democrats have flipped. There's only been a +1 so far in the House. And so I don't know where this reported landslide is, but we don't know how many of those people are uniparty members. And if they're uniparty Republicans put in place with fake Republican ballots, which is entirely possible, then what is it? I don't know why people are going crazy over this stuff. By the way, this isn't supposed to be a black pill. I still am 100% optimistic, more than anyone who's talking about how this election in 2020 is optimistic. That's not optimistic at all. That's just supporting the system. Totally optimistic that this is all going to work out extremely well. Yeah. This fake election is not the ginormous win we are told. That's what we're supposed to think.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Sorry.
We do have a situation in which a stolen election would have been cataclysmically demoralizing for us. Even for those of us in the know, there's no way to get around a Kamala Harris declaration of victory and not treat it as an epic gut punch. So I think we may be getting the best of all possible worlds here, in that we get Donald Trump and we get a hilariously rigged election in the Senate, in the House, and of course, Donald Trump, you could just say it was rigged too, but it was too big to rig. All of these things are narrative. So I'm not making any claims about actual votes, because I contend no actual votes were cast, because it's not a real election. I would also point everybody to look for the people suddenly saying, hey, maybe elections are actually fair. Those people should be run from screaming, because they're either stupid or they're intentionally gaslighting you. The elections have been very plainly fake. And the way you can know that they are fake is because you simply can never, ever check on them. The systems are specifically designed not just to make it so that you can't check on them, but that the concept of checking on them at all is impossible. You decouple the person's identity from his vote with the secret ballot, and then you make the ballots utterly unauditable by destroying evidence every single time. That's not a real election, because you can't check on it. So I will reiterate, I'm super stoked that the narrative has allowed Donald Trump, in theory, to go ahead and get inaugurated on January 20th. But we have every bit as fake of elections today as we had back in 2020. And the only people that I am truly suspicious of right now are the ones saying, hey, maybe the elections are fair, guys. You had Chunk Yogurt coming out saying, won't everybody agree now? Oh, can we all at least agree that this wasn't rigged? No, I can't agree that it wasn't rigged, Chunk. You're schmuck.
Think about what it must. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Well, I'm just saying, okay, so where we're at right now, everybody's pumped about Trump winning. Totally get it. Senate, we have that locked up, but the House actually doesn't look good. We're at 220 right now, projected to win. It's gone down. It looks like they're trying to steal it in Arizona, House 6. I mean, that's within 2,000 votes now. And then, California's going to count. They have 62% of their ballots in.
Yeah.
I have to imagine Adam Gray's going to win that one, right?
Okay, so we're sitting here almost a week later, and they got 38% of the ballots left to count.
Yeah, they don't care at all.
All you have to do at this point, if you're a sane country, is tell California, you're suspended. You send your reps. Don't even come to Congress. You don't get to vote in the United States Congress. You don't get to send senators here. Right now, we're on a 49-state system until you get your shit together. That's insane. And we all have standing for what those sons of bitches on the West Coast are currently trying to pull.
Looks like Colorado might be pulling something here too in House 8. Who knows? Maybe we come out of it and we do have the House, and those guys will fix it when they get in there. But maybe not. What if they do steal this and they go through with their 14th Amendment plan? I mean, this thing, we're so far from this being resolved at this point that it's while I'm ready to celebrate, especially at GART this next week, I'm ready to celebrate the Trump narrative victory here. We still have so much to. It's like we just crossed the 50-yard line, maybe even not that, maybe like the 20-yard line. We're gonna go score it, but we have a ways to go, and we have a long battle ahead of us. And I'm not ready to get that high yet, if that makes sense.
God knows what these psychotic animals are about to pull. They're not human.
Yeah, but there were some interesting things that came out of this. Unless you guys want to keep talking on it.
Let me say one more thing about the if we're moving on from the election fraud thing, there's
I was just gonna go to
for
the
4 years. Oh, okay. So let me say this before that then. For 4 years, we have watched as the Con Inc. media people and even the kind of friendly info op that we see, between Tucker Carlson and some of these other media outlets that are still very much mainstream media, but are independent now. There hasn't been a lot of talk of election fraud over the last 4 years. There's been just calling Biden president the entire time. And if you do that, when the elections were actually fake and the country was actually usurped, people would have good reason to think that you are not playing for the right team, that you are some kind of traitor or you're a moron. And to then find out years later that the elections are actually quite rigged and incapable of producing legitimate results, you're going to look real bad for having ignored that for 4 years. So we saw in 2022 and throughout all of last year up till this spring, for about a year and a half, people trying to actually get rid of Donald Trump, like to move him off of the map politically. People who are, conservatives and Republicans, but really just neocons, which makes them Trotskyites. So they tried to get rid of Trump completely. That would have covered up the election fraud and gotten them off the hook for that. And now they're trying to do it again and get off the hook for that. And none of them would ever have to take any responsibility for the fact that the elections are stolen, and they just lie about it.
That's a great point.
They continue to be prominent. These are the people who get paid $1 million a week to lie to millions of people at a time.
I know people get upset when we talk about this, which is funny. It's like they keep talking about people with bigger followings than them. And it's like you are literally just doing the same thing that you get mad at us for doing to them or whatever. But it's a concern here because what you just said there about had they been successful in the DeSantis op and gotten rid of Trump, all of their shenanigans about the election fraud in 2020 would have been fine. Nobody would have thought about it. Nobody would have cared because we had all moved on from Trump at that point. And so our only opportunity, in my opinion, to fix our election system is with Trump here. I don't think if Trump does not do this now, I have no faith that it will ever get done, whether it's now or within the next 4 years or whatever. Preferably sooner the better. Preferably here as we see elections get stolen all over the country. But yeah, the gatekeeping now too. And a topic I want to get into after we watch the Maddow clip and another clip is the gatekeepers and now the same people who subverted Trump 2016 before he got in there, subverted Trump with DeSantis op, now also subverting admin picks, which I think is crazy. And they may have just been successful in one with the Pompeo thing, which we're going to talk about that too. So let me play this Maddow clip, unless you got anything to add to it, Patrick.
Go. I really do want to talk about the new gatekeepers because we've been watching this crap since the beginning. Since 2017, I remember Mike Cernovich whipping me up into a frenzy over the personnel choices that Donald Trump was making, how H.R. McMaster was putting drugs in his ice cream. It was all nuts. And I think we're going to get another giant dose of that stuff, and we're going to be better at dealing with it.
Yeah. Yeah. When we get to the gatekeeper part here in a little bit, remind me to tell you the story about the email I got last night. Because I can't wait to tell you guys. I got called a grifter for not registering enough voters.
A grifter for what?
So last night on Liberty Den, I'll just tell this right now. Last night on Liberty Den, we were talking about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, I don't have anything against him personally. We played the Bannon clip where Bannon's like, yeah, I went on Charlie Kirk and he wouldn't let me talk about election fraud because he didn't want to get kicked off YouTube. And people got offended that I was pointing that out or something. I got an email. The guy's like, how he registered 100,000 voters. How many did you register? I was like, you can go watch Charlie Kirk, dude. You don't have to watch me. Well, whatever.
Trundle on over to the Daily Wire.
he's like, you don't have a link to register voters on your website. You registered 0 people. You're a grifter.
I registered your mother, motherfucker.
The dude literally wouldn't let Bannon talk about election fraud to stay on YouTube. We're on our 5th YouTube account, but me not registering voters makes Badlands grifters, right? Like it's an insane. Like I don't get the hero worship here. I don't get it. But we'll get into that a little more heavily here in a little bit. Let's watch this. We played this on Wednesday. We didn't have the discussion I was hoping to have on Wednesday, so I'm hoping we can have it now. Because this, with another clip that came out afterwards from Joe Rogan, I think is very, very interesting. Take a listen.
But let me also point out something more strange, which has been happening at the same time and it hasn't had as much attention. The day before Trump made those remarks on Friday, he said, you're never going to have to vote again after you vote for me this one time. The day before that, on Thursday last week, he didn't say that people wouldn't have to vote anymore once he was elected this November. Now, the day before that, on Thursday, he told his supporters, not that they're not going to have to vote again, but that they don't have to vote this time, that they don't need to vote for him this November.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes. He said that on Thursday last week. And it turns out this is something, when you look, he says this all the time now. Watch.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
We don't need votes. I tell my people, I don't need any votes. We got all the votes we need. I don't need votes. We don't need votes. We got more votes than anybody's ever had. You don't have to vote. Don't worry about voting. The voting, we got plenty of votes.
Don't worry about voting. Of all the weirdness around this campaign, this is a truly strange thing to tell people, right? Don't vote. I don't need your vote. I don't want your vote. I mean, all the surface level weirdness is, worth noting. Having a new position on literally anything you can think of as soon as any random rich guy tells you to. That's a weird thing. Picking the eccentric billionaire's intern for your running mate, even though you apparently had no idea who he was or what a disaster he is on television. All of this is weird. But telling voters, do not bother to vote for me. It doesn't matter if you do. I don't need your votes. That is a thing that should prick up your ears. Because what that means is that he doesn't think he needs to win the vote to win the election. He doesn't think he needs to win the election in order to take power. He thinks something other than votes is going to determine whether or not he gets back in the White House.
That's what we've been thinking for like 3 years.
It's almost as if she really genuinely doesn't know why he would have said that. First of all, he was saying that because he was saying, yeah, I got the vote part covered. It's all the cheating I'm not sure how to deal with. That's what he meant every single time he said that. And Mad Cow knows that. So what is she really saying? When did she say this? Before or after Trump?
I think it must have been like a week before the election. But know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of this.
Folks, we got a lot of work to do.
Oh, Chris,
I don't need.
do you have this pulled up? You have this pulled up too.
Yeah, but yours works.
Sorry.
Work to do. I don't need you to get me elected. I need you once I'm elected. Folks,
That this is very similar to what Biden said back in 2020. But yeah, Chris, you got
it's totally different concepts. Biden was openly saying, "Yeah, I don't need anybody to vote for me. I'm good." Trump was very specifically saying, "Yeah, I'm not fighting against votes. I'm fighting against fraud."
Yeah, that's one way you could look at it.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel Maddow is picking up on something very important, and I am firmly of the belief that elections are not how the leaders of countries are determined. And I think that we have good reason to believe that looking at how things happen around the world. And I think that Rachel Maddow is probably savvy enough to understand that and understand that Biden was installed. It wasn't a matter of Biden got votes and was then placed in his position as president of the real country. And by the same token, Trump did not need votes in a fake election to become president again. Whatever this thing we had to do was, this self-deceiving psyop we just participated in, that gives people catharsis, that gives the society permission to change from one leader to the other. What was not required for Donald Trump to complete that was votes. So if Rachel Maddow is being honest about that, if Donald Trump is being honest about that, Trump has said consistently for 4+ years that are, maybe you could go back. By the way, you can go back to 2012. Didn't he say that Obama was stealing the election from Mitt Romney and that there were millions of illegal votes in that election? So for 12 years, Donald Trump has been saying that elections are fraudulent. And if elections are fraudulent and the people that run the elections, that run in the elections, and that vote in the elections all know that the elections are fraudulent, that's a fake election. That's a bunch of people deceiving themselves to participate in a cultural ritual whereby we give away our power to whoever the television tells us to give it to. And that is crazy. I mean, if everybody knows the election's fake, then we're all deceiving ourselves. Certainly no one then needs votes to get into office of whatever that office is, which is generally just the public face of an administration that has a bureaucratic state implement everything and just give us rules by fiat. It's nice to actually see people talk about the situation as it is. Rachel Maddow is pretending Donald Trump is doing this through some dictatorial means where he's going to seize power of the country. Donald Trump already has that power. He's just going to be recognized again as the public power.
When you really think about what elections are, and this comes very much back to what you said earlier, Chris, about narrative warfares, right? It's the campaign season is just a period of irregular warfare. That's literally by definition. If you look at the definition, it's irregular warfare is a struggle among state and non-state actors to influence populations and affect legitimacy. And the conclusion of a battle for legitimacy is one of the people, like the winning side, being the legitimate rulers. And Chris Miller even had that, he defined this, I think this was on the podcast with Ezra Cohen-Watnick, who, by the way, has been doing a bunch of spaces lately. He did one today, and KT McFarland was on there, and she's a very dastardly name. We should almost come back to that too later. But listen to this.
Regular warfare, and this is loaded because of the Vietnam War with hearts and minds, but really what we're talking about is the center of gravity is the local population and winning their loyalty to the government that you are supporting or the effort that you're supporting. So that's kind of how I always end up keeping it simple.
It's the hearts and minds. And no matter what outcome they came up with for this election, everybody knew Trump had the hearts and minds of everybody. Like, no matter how much bullshit the mainstream media threw out there, Trump, they wouldn't have got away with stealing this from him, which is why I was kind of hoping they would, so we could finally expose the system. Maybe that's why they capitulated. I don't know. But this is a very interesting, and for Maddow to be picking up on that. And then take a listen to this. This is one more clip I want to play, which I think is kind of tangent to it. Joe Rogan saying some interesting things about Elon Musk and knowing the results ahead of time and like stuff like this. It's an interesting clip.
Apparently, Elon created an app and he knew who won 4 hours before the results. So as the results were coming in, 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me Elon was like, "I'm leaving. It's over. Donald won." He just fucking somehow or another.
He's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's like
pod and evaporate.
I don't know what he's getting, where he's pulling his data from, but he had like the most accurate data in terms of the rural states hadn't put the results in yet, but yet Trump was ahead in these states. Kamala's never going to win those states, so tabulated that and like put it all together. I don't know how he did it. But
yeah,
Dana. I haven't even talked to Elon about this. I don't know like the Dana translation, but Dana said he had an app and he was like showing him. He's like, "It's over."
And
he fucking left. Dude just left.
It's over. John Jones won. Just saying that.
He just fucking left.
So Dana White was telling Joe Rogan that Elon Musk was showing him on his phone 4 hours early who the winner was going to be.
I think
that's pretty interesting.
I'm pretty sure I've got a more mundane explanation for that.
Let's hear it.
Back in 2016, when I was watching the election returns, I was keeping really, really granular track of the totals and the percentage in. And it's just a simple little algebra expression to figure out exactly what percentage of the remaining vote that the opponent needs in order to be able to tie. So as I was doing, election math, Chris, you'll probably recall, I was texting you all night. Okay, Kamala needs to get 69% of the remaining votes to carry this state. And this was many hours in advance of the states being called by our overlords at decision Fortress of Solitude or whatever they're calling themselves. And so I knew that Pennsylvania was done at least 2 hours before they said Pennsylvania was done. Way before on Florida. Florida was a freaking joke. The fact that they waited as long as they waited to call Florida, it was a disgrace, really. Wisconsin, Michigan, every single one of these states was showing basically showing a significant enough Trump lead that if the roles had been reversed, they would have called it for Kamala way, way in advance. So if you do keep really close track of those numbers and try to figure out, okay, what's the basic party affiliation of the precincts that remain, you're going to be able to know way before these goofballs call it.
Yeah. As CanCon pointed out, we did call like 4 hours early on Badlands. So maybe he was just watching Badlands, following us on Twitter, and that's what he was showing Dana on his phone or something. But no, the interesting part is like the specifics of this is Elon, like even the narrative of it, Elon knowing this far ahead of time, like the possibilities of what that could actually be. It could be something as stupid as just like my Twitter algos are kind of telling me everybody's pro-Trump right now that he's going to win. And it could be what you said, Patrick, or it could be something a little cooler because Trump has talked to Elon about this multiple times. He's said on pot, he's like, I don't know if I should say this, but Elon says, Elon says that we got to get away from those machines. There could be something there. And that's what kind of has me a little excited. But if there is, we probably wouldn't know for sure for a while. I think they've already probably come out and debunked that narrative by now. You know what? I should even see if I can find that. But Chris, you should talk to this.
I wonder if Elon has a hammer and scorecard app.
You conspiracy theorist, you.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what? That's one we didn't have on is Sidney Powell. I forgot to reach out to her about our election stuff. Dang it.
Hey, Sidney Powell, come on DPH and we can talk all about it.
I would love to hear from Sidney Powell. I felt that she was treated really poorly during the aftermath of the 2020 election. What a nightmare that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an Elon Musk election-related series of conversations with a billionaire a few months ago, reported by the Wall Street Journal. I'm going to have to find this. You go ahead. I'll find this article. I have to remember what this guy's name is.
Hey, real quick note. Did Rachel Maddow say that J.D. Vance was a disaster on television a week before the election, which would have had to have been after J.D. She referred to him as a staffer for the eccentric billionaire chosen as Trump's running mate, despite not knowing what a disaster he is on TV.
She did say something like that. I don't know for sure though.
All right, just
do you want me to play it again?
It's not that important. I just thought she was ridiculous.
She always is.
Yeah. I hear that there is some real humor value in watching MSNBC.
Oh yeah.
Scott Adams says he watches it purely for the laughs.
Yeah, we watch it throughout the day on our election coverage, like just to check in. We were checking in with some of the mainstream ones to see how they're doing. Like they had a coke-addled guy running their little whiteboard thing more than they had any of the people on the screen. Like it was nuts to see the guy.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was great. And we had Bernie Bright like breaking down the guy on the screen, breaking down the election. It was hilarious.
Oh, I saw that. That was fantastic. I caught a lot of y'all's coverage, and I was just so bummed out that I couldn't be there.
Oh,
next fake election, Patrick. We'll get it.
Oh God. Musk. Musk, along with the billionaire investor Nelson Peltz, has also briefed Trump on a plan they have developed to invest in a data-driven project to prevent voter fraud, according to some of the people. Peltz and Musk also told Trump of an influence campaign in elite circles that is already underway, in which Musk and his political allies host gatherings of powerful business leaders across the country to try to convince them not to support President Biden's re-election campaign.
That's notable. That's a great find.
Yeah, so this was inside Donald Trump and Elon Musk's growing alliance from May 29th of this year in the Wall Street Journal.
Wait a minute. When did Elon come out as like Mr. Trump lover?
I don't know. I remember there was a story probably before that one where they had met, multiple times. Gosh, I don't know. I don't remember. But it kind of like it went from, they're meeting, they're talking. Elon wasn't really necessarily saying anything like uber political. And then Trump got shot in the ear. And then Elon's like, fuck this, go Trump. And then there's rumors that he was going to start that PAC or whatever, like $25 million a month. And he became like overtly pro-Trump after the assassination attempt, if I'm not mistaken.
ChatGPT says, and I quote, Elon Musk publicly endorsed Donald Trump for president on July 13th, 2024, on the day of Butler.
Yeah.
Okay. This endorsement followed a period of private support, including a meeting in February 2024, where Musk advocated for Trump's candidacy among prominent donors.
So you don't even have to ask ChatGPT. I said the same thing.
Yeah, well, and ChatGPT agrees with you.
I'm just kidding. You can subscribe to me for $10 a month, and I'll tell you all the answers. No, I'm just kidding.
And I subscribe to ChatGPT for $20 a month. So John's cheaper.
That is... It's crazy. How many AI apps do you subscribe to? Is it just the one? Just the one?
No, I technically subscribe to Grok, but that's just part of my Twitter premium subscription.
Oh, yeah. Grok is so good at the images thing, by the way.
Yeah, it's
better than any other ones. Oh, yeah.
Man, Midjourney is pretty awesome.
I guess I haven't tried that one, but the ones I have tried, Grok is like so good.
Have you tried the app called Donna that'll make you a song?
You showed us that.
That freaking blew my mind.
I don't think I've seen that one. But if you made a song, I want to hear it.
I showed it to me. It was really amazing. I immediately got a subscription.
Crazy. But yeah, this is notable stuff, guys. I don't know. Like the whole election, Maddow catching on to it. We'll see what happens. I bet by the end of next week, maybe we'll know if they stole enough race in the House, and then we'll start hearing some weird stuff. What do you guys think of the whole they're choosing a Senate leader like next week, apparently a new Senate leader for the Republicans?
Don't they need to seat these people first?
No, apparently they can be part of it. I looked that up because I was like, why are they voting on this before the people are even seated? Because they don't get seated until January 3rd, but they're letting the newcomers take part in the election anyway. So are they going to let the old people take part of it and the new people? I don't get it.
Hell out of me, man. I would assume if they're letting the new people take part in it, the old people don't get to choose. So they would have to choose from the incoming Senate. The leader of the majority in the Senate has enormous power. And I'm also kind of blown away that we only get to pick among three like establishment types for that role. Those being John Thune, Rick Scott, and Seymour Butts. I don't remember who the third one was, but some jackass. Thank you. Oh God. Texas's shame.
Yeah.
And it's a secret ballot, so we'll never know who your senator voted for.
The
government's illegitimate, so that's the good news.
Ballot is a freaking abomination, and it's an abomination on the citizen level. It is an abomination on the congressional level. If you vote, you should have to do it publicly so everybody knows who's voting for whom. You should be able to look it up on Facebook.
You know what's funny is people get upset when I talk about how the government's illegitimate and the elections are fake. The founders, the people in the founding era would have like spat on the ground if they knew what we were doing, transferring our power to these god kings through fake elections, and we would just allow them to do it. It's insane.
Didn't we start like the Revolutionary War over the tax on tea of like what percent? Like 3% or something?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But they get away with it because of the media, which one good thing about Trump winning in the fashion he did, if they don't steal enough to give him the popular vote, especially, that takes a huge narrative sling from them as, like, he doesn't have he has a mandate based on how whatever happened Tuesday turned out. And so they've been like, in a lot of ways, very delegitimized. If they weren't already, the rug's been pulled from under them, which I love that part. Because the way they framed everything Donald Trump leading up to this election, none of it worked. None of it was effective. Didn't matter what they said. Didn't matter how many times they called him a Nazi, any of this stuff, all the bullshit stories. They tried the fake Epstein story right before the election. They tried the he's still Hitler, which Bill Maher, did you see that clip? Well, Bill Maher said the same thing again.
I've literally never seen any Bill Maher clip that you didn't show me personally.
Oh man, maybe we should even watch that. Oh fuck. Okay. It's like a 4-minute clip, so but it might be worth it.
Remember that time that he said, yeah, I know he colluded with Russia. I have a television. He thought that was so clever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll pull this up. While I'm pulling this up, guys, just a quick reminder to hit that thumbs up for us. We truly appreciate that. Also, this next week, we are going to be in Myrtle Beach for the next stop on our Great American Restoration Tour. If you can't make it in person, you guys got to get your virtual tickets. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. We're going to make it as just as if you were there. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/events, get your virtual ticket, and we're going to start posting content Thursday. I think our VIP dinner is Thursday, so we will be doing that right away. I think this is the clip. I'll play this as fast as I can.
But you can't scream about democracy and then have a guy run the table like this and not say, well, it's a mandate, right? Is that right or wrong? Is it a mandate?
Yes, the Harvard Institute of Politics student president came out with an op-ed today talking about how they weren't going to forego democracy for the sake of nonpartisanship. Set aside that they might have wanted to talk to a lawyer before saying their nonprofit was now going to be a partisan organization. But the idea that you're going to be pro-democracy by not giving a voice and allowing other students to hear from speakers that belong to the party that just won through a democratic process, like that's where the left has a problem. They become the party of the faculty lounge. They're so condescending. They're so arrogant. And again, not to beat the dead horse, the whole point is to be exclusionary. They're not accidentally exclusionary. It's the mission statement.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw Kamala was on Saturday Night Live, as the losing candidate often is. It worked so well for Hillary. Let's run that back. And it just made me think, I'm sure every single member of the Saturday Night Live cast was a Harris supporter. But what if one of them wasn't? What if one of those cast members was for Trump? Would they have felt comfortable saying so? I really don't think so. They would have had to keep it to themselves. That's not a good place for us to be. I remember when, and that happens even more on the left. And I remember when Elon Musk hosted, and this is well before he was a Trumper. This is 3 or 4 years. He was just the richest man in the world. And a number of the cast members on Saturday Night Live, like they didn't want to deal with him. They didn't exactly boycott, but they made it plain. And I was thinking, really? You have Elon Musk on your show for a week. You could talk to one of the most interesting, brilliant people the world has ever produced, even about this issue that bothers you so much that he's so rich and lots of people aren't. But no, you don't want to even deal with him. That's what I hate about the left. You're brats. You're brats and you're snobs, and people don't like that.
And not in the brat summer way.
Not in a brat. That's right. Not brat summer.
Look at the dating.
Look how good that worked.
Look at the dating numbers. Liberal women won't be friends with, won't date a conservative man. It's not good for our society if you've replaced religion with politics, and we're becoming a post-racial society, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But it's being replaced with this diploma divide where you have, again, this like arrogant, condescending group that says, if you don't vote the way we do, you're a fascist, you're Hitler, you're Hitler-like. It's 1933 again, as Jen Rubin from the Washington Post tweeted yesterday, during the attack on Jews in Amsterdam. She's tweeting about how it's 1933 here. Let's look at Europe for a second.
In some ways, he is Hitler-like. I'm sorry, but that's just true. Not Hitler, but you know,
just because someone voted for
he says he likes their generals. You know, I mean, that's Hitler-like. I wish I had his generals.
Because someone voted for Trump, you don't get to then ostracize them from polite society.
I agree. And also, like, the problem with the left is that they don't want to deal with anyone who just likes Trump. I've been saying this for years. You can hate Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country, and they're not all bad people. Politics isn't an extension of a person.
What do you think he's doing here? Like, this is so weird because he is a leftist. He is the people he is describing.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally proves it on screen when he calls Trump Hitler light, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I think,
and he always directs the hate movement at Trump supporters and always has. He describes them as fat and stupid and ignorant and racist. Like, they always do this. They play hard one side and then they play back against their side because it keeps them seeming like the reasonable and smart one. That's like Bill Maher's shtick. It's what Mike Cernovich does, and like all the like Cernovich lights do, who are like kissing Mike Cernovich's ass.
Yeah, these slithering reptilian survivor types like Bill Maher or Mike Cernovich on the so-called right. Cernovich, sorry.
Thank you.
Mike and Bill and these people, they're survivors. And so what I think we're seeing from Bill is a guy who sees the writing on the wall, and he's basically saying, hey, can I please be part of your new world? I promise to be the acceptable man of the left, but please don't kill me, or something like that. But it's just a pivot. It's a business decision. The dude's freaking scum.
Yeah, and this might be a good segue into our next segment, kind of on the admin picks and the gatekeeping. But I was actually just
Can I say one more thing about Hitler's generals, John?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was looking at something a couple of weeks ago. I talked about it on my show, but there was this thing about Hitler's generals having basically defected and gone to the other side to give all sorts of intelligence over to the allies. And I have to wonder if maybe Trump wasn't wanting the enemy's top ranking members of military and military advisors to kind of come tell him what was actually being done by the enemy. So a different interpretation, certainly, but interesting.
Yeah, let me show you the reason we're mentioning Mike Cernovich, and he's a good example of this. Oh shit, I gotta get these pulled up in the pictures. But I came across a tweet of his the other day talking about, like, it was super cringy pro-Trump stuff, like Trump winning the election, landslide, all these things, and then like being, we got to make sure we get Pompeo out of there, and he can't be the pick, whatever. And he may be right. Like, I don't know about Pompeo. Like, I've speculated for sure that I think he was on the right side of things, but I'm pretty sure I've always like prefaced that with, I could be wrong about that. Like, it could be anything. When it comes to the people, especially, it's a wild card, right? Like, we have no idea. And even Trump not going with Pompeo here, I don't even think that excludes him from being on the right side of things. Like, we don't know. We'll get into the Pompeo thing more aggressively here shortly, but I came across this tweet of his from 2021. Patrick, do you want to read this?
This is Trump's worst tweet by far. A sore, pathetic loser leaving the field. Diehard fans will pretend he didn't say it. To everyone else, this is the end. Going out like a little bit.
And then it's Trump saying he's not going to attend the inauguration on January 20th. And then there's this one.
Cernovich, November 9th, 2022. It's hard for people to let go. You can and should love 2015, 2016. Greatest time ever. The world changes and you either evolve or get left for compost. The country doesn't care about the 2020 election. That's proven beyond doubt with Kemp's win. Trump can't move on. Oh, well, bye.
Encouraging people to move on from 2020. Nuts.
They all used to say Trump is done every time he would say something that offends liberals. And that's what they're always doing, is making sure. It's crazy how often they make the exact same case, that they're controlled opposition, that they're always tickle fighting. The same case that they make. When Donald Trump he did that sit down with, I don't remember what it was called. It was like some black media group. And it was Harris Faulkner from Fox News and a couple other reporters on stage. He said that Kamala Harris wasn't black, and all of the Ron people like Cernovich and the rest of them, all the conning people, the Daily Weimar, etc., all got really mad at Donald Trump in the exact same way all the liberals got mad at Donald Trump. How could he say this thing? Always.
But yeah, so let's go to this now. Actually, you know what? Before we get to the Pompeo thing, I do want to show this truth post from Trump, because this is pretty damn interesting as well. And then we'll get to the Pompeo, the Susan Wiles stuff, and some of the more admin stuff. Patrick, give this a read.
Listen carefully to this one. This is really interesting. Donald Trump on Truth Social. I am very surprised that the Democrats, who fought a hard and valiant fight in the 2020 presidential election, raising a record amount of money, didn't have lots of dollars left over. Now they're being squeezed by vendors and others. Whatever we can do to help them during this difficult period, I would strongly recommend we, as a party, and for the sake of desperately needed unity, do. We have a lot of money left over, in that our biggest asset in the campaign was earned media, and that doesn't cost very much. Make America great again.
Patrick, can you read the timestamp on that?
November 9th, 2024 at 8:03 a.m.
Okay, so he posted that this morning on Truth Social. A lot of people talking like, what the hell is he talking about here? A lot of people responding to this tweet. A lot of people drawing attention to, he said 2020, not 2024. What is he talking about? And then at 6:16 p.m., and these are all Central Time, the best time zone, he posts the same thing again, same exact wording, doesn't fix any of the errors, doesn't fix the 2020 thing, but it's like almost 12 hours later. So,
okay, so let's be real clear. Trump meant to write 2020. I don't know why.
Well, you could speculate on that. I mean, there's multiple things you could speculate here on. Number one, the first thing that I drew attention to or post about, first thing I thought was when it came to this earned media thing, put it in quotes. When you look up what earned media is, it's like media that you get from, like, you don't pay for it at all. You don't advertise for it. It's just the media writing stories about you. And we've said so many times, Bernie Bright's talked about this all the time, like the Trump trials are his campaign. Him being politically persecuted has benefited him. Then putting him on a mugshot of his out there benefits him. The assassination attempt, that benefited him politically. Like, as bad as that sounds, it did. That's earned media. Okay. And so when you're talking about like, hey, let's pay back their campaign, we have plenty of money because we've got a lot of earned media. Let's pay off their campaign. And I'm like, I wonder if we're going to see some earned media, a similarly fashioned earned media on their behalf moving forward, like kind of like a tit for tit type of thing. You know what I mean? I know that's not the phrase, that's an office quote. But anyway, Patrick, 2020, what's your thoughts on this?
So I'm just going to put myself in Trump's shoes right now and say the reference to 2020 is in some way his way of slyly saying, hey, you shitbirds who stole 2020, I'm coming for you. I don't know how it means that, but my guess is that somehow it does. And I'll figure out a way to make that fit. But I'll probably have ChatGPT do it for me.
Chris, you got anything?
Man, I mean, I think that your take is very interesting. I would love to see that be the way things pan out. There's certainly plenty of reason to believe that if promises made are promises kept, then we will see prosecutions at some point. The 2020 thing, I think, to do that, as you said, in a post in the morning and then a post in the evening, same post, same wording, as if no one ever, like, throughout the day pointed that out to Trump, that it says 2020. I mean, Patrick, you were hinting at this. We didn't have a 2024 election, so what other election could he be talking about?
Yeah, and remember, so I have this little saying that I use. In Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there was this girl who basically told a dude in a basement, I'm going to call the cops and I'm going to make sure that you go to prison. And then she tries to exit the basement. Okay, because that's retarded. You don't tell somebody you're going to destroy their lives when you're defenseless and unable to retreat. Anyway, he kills her. So her name was Trina. I call that pulling a Trina. So I think you're going to find Trump being kind of a little bit on the quiet side about what he's going to do to his enemies until January 20th at 12:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I don't want him to pull a Trina. So I'm really excited about the fact that this might be coded messaging for, hey, patriots, don't worry. These sons of bitches are going to get what's coming to them. Remember, Donald Trump said to Matt Gaetz, hey, we have a little secret. We do a little trolling. We got a little secret. Yeah. What could that secret be? I don't know. Could be an assload of Dems switching parties in the House.
That could be
something even cooler.
That could make them stealing the election, like, for these Democrats to try to get the majority, even sweeter. Like, they steal the election, it gets very obvious, they have the majority, whatever, and then a bunch of Dems switch to the Republican Party anyway. That'd be kind of crazy. But only Patrick would coin a phrase based on a Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie or show. Love that, man. Love that about you. Love it. Pulling a Trina. Gonna start using that. But yeah, okay. The other post from Trump that really made I would say shockwaves today, especially because, like, over the past couple days, we've seen this huge, like, I don't even know who started the rumor that, like, hey, Pompeo is being discussed as a potential cabinet member for Trump. I don't even know where that rumor came from, because I don't think it was from Trump's camp. I don't know where that came from. And then
I saw Ben Shapiro pushing it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. All of Con Inc., everybody was freaking out, like, no, we can't have Pompeo doing this. We can't have Pompeo in there, whatever. And I've seen the stuff on Pompeo. It very well could be true that he is a bad guy. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know him personally. Don't know. If what they're saying is true, then yeah, I could see the argument be made that yeah, he's a bad guy. I don't know. When it comes to Trump's personnel decisions, especially the second admin, like I'm kind of the mindset that I don't really give a shit because I don't think he's not gonna put people in there to try to okay, I'm gonna appease them now and do shit later. Like I don't think he's gonna put up with any of that bullshit this time around. I think he's just gonna go out there and make America great again. That's what he told us he's gonna do. That's what I think he's gonna do. I trust him. He's gonna do it. So when I'm seeing this huge push on social media to no, not Pompeo, not Pompeo, not Pompeo, it's interesting. It's coming from all the same people who didn't want him. Like they wanted DeSantis over Trump. Like every one of the people who wanted DeSantis over Trump were pushing to not Pompeo. Every one of those same people didn't want Trump as the candidate in 2016. And now, so when I look at this post, how often does a guy come out here and just specifically say, hey, I'm not going to have these two individuals as part of my administration, guys. Stop freaking out. Just so you know, I'm not going to have this. I've never seen this before.
I think that Trump is very happy to start kind of being a MAGA president way more than he was in his first term. Trump hired a lot of really, really unpleasant people in his first term. And I do not believe he did it because he just didn't know any better. Although he would definitely like that narrative to continue.
For sure.
But no, I don't think that's his reason. And I don't also exactly know what his reason is, other than somehow it was necessary to do what he needed to accomplish. Now he's telling everybody, look, I'm going to be hiring not these two. So don't worry about it. I'm not anybody's butt boy like I'm being accused of by the new gatekeepers. He's Israel's butt boy. And that's what they're going to say over and over. The same clowns who became dissimps in 2020 for the election 2024 cycle are now becoming the he's owned by Israel lobby. It's going to be a shit show. We're just going to have to get over it and learn to recognize these people for what they are. Malign operators. And I like the fact that Donald Trump is coming out and saying, I'm not going to hire Nikki Haley or Mike Pompeo. And I believe that Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo probably did the things that they did with Donald Trump's blessing.
Probs. Yeah. I get on board with that. I just think it's interesting. He took an arrow out of their quiver almost by just shut the fuck up, guys. I'm not doing it. It's
after letting them run with it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
There are some things that have been, I think, pretty important over the last couple of years, narratively speaking, for Mike Pompeo. One of them is that he's been handling some Taiwan stuff, and in a way that presents itself as being from the opposite angle that Nancy Pelosi was handling Taiwan stuff, which was always very weird that she was flying over and meeting with the president of Taiwan. Tucker Carlson has spent a lot of time saying that Mike Pompeo was trying to have Julian Assange killed. So that is certainly interesting from a bunch of different angles. I'm not sure exactly what that means. There was also an interview, I guess end of last summer, I think maybe last August or September, where Tucker sat down with RFK Jr. and just kind of in this weird segment talking about something else, RFK Jr. mentioned how he was at a dinner in Las Vegas with Mike Pompeo and Secret Service. And that always kind of just lingered with me, wondering what that must have meant. There's a chance that Mike Pompeo is just done with his role at this point, and Donald Trump is just creating a lot of space with this message. The Nikki Haley thing is very weird. She kind of jumped into the fake primary race and took some of the air out of Ron DeSantis's sails, went very, very conning, very neocon, very corporatist, very military industrial complex, and then began supporting Donald Trump. Then just a week or two ago started talking about how Trump wasn't, doing enough to appease women and get them to vote for him. So she's gone back and forth a bunch of times. And nobody's going to miss Nikki Haley, of course. But hey, who knows, man? Something in the background we don't know about.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how if he does this with anybody else. Like, because wasn't Pompeo the Kansas thing in the drops? I saw a lot of people talking about that today. What exactly does it say again? Is it just trust Kansas, right?
Trust Ray, trust Kansas. And by the way, it's trust Kansas in response to a question about whether or not Pompeo is a good or bad guy. So an anon asks Q, so tell us about this Pompeo character. And Q's response is trust Kansas. I don't think that's ambiguous.
Okay. Is there anybody else they've said that about? Because it's also notable. I think I saw rumors. Again, rumors. Don't know if this is true, but Chris Wray may be retiring before Trump takes back over.
I've heard that too, but then again, I might have heard it from you. So
I don't think I brought that up yet.
Okay, I heard it from somewhere.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anybody else he's talked about, and if they're still around, or if they've been booted or what. But yeah, that's notable. Sessions. That's the one. I saw somebody in the chat post this earlier.
Trust Sessions. Wow. Yeah, very nice. One of the first times I became aware of kayfabe, I guess you could call it, was when Donald Trump went on Lester Holt and said, if I had known he was going to recuse himself from this Russia thing, then I would have picked somebody else. Give me a break. You don't go on left-wing mainstream media and throw your AG pick under the bus. If you were really doing that for real, then you'd be a retard. So he had some reason for doing that. And that's when I realized, right? That's when I realized at that moment, okay, he's up to something. And that's when I started thinking in these paradigms, because there's no way he threw Sessions under the bus. You know that Sessions was considered by some the only truly honest senator, like the senator who really never, ever could be bought, never cut a single corner, was just the straightest arrow there ever was. I don't think for a microsecond that Sessions is anything other than a mega patriot.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really study him much because he was gone well before like I did any of my Devo stuff. But I do know that he brought in
away Biden's hand from his grandchild.
He brought in Ezra Cohen Watnick to the DOJ after he left Oracle. I do remember that, but I don't know if there's anything else.
All right, so Q Digger writes for us, okay? Trust Sessions, trust Ray, trust Kansas, trust Horowitz, trust Huber, Q. If memory serves, that's Q drop number 950.
Yeah, I'm looking for the one I saw somebody earlier said that too. I think it was Lindy who posted it earlier. But yeah, it's notable. But you know, part of this is something that I think it'll be interesting to see the dynamic between who, like the Con Inc. gatekeepers or whatever, who they start saying like Trump can absolutely not have this person in the administration. And then if Trump actually responds by like publicly posting and saying, okay, yep, I won't have in my administration, because these people are taking, like, again, the celebratory laps they took on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning over, hey, we did it, guys. We got Trump over the hump for the election. We did it. Congratulations. I just want to congratulate this person because for all the work, whatever. They're doing the same thing with this. Like, yeah, we did it. Trump saw us, and now we didn't hire Pompeo. Good for us. Like, we did it. And it's just a weird dynamic going on with this. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. But what else do I want to get into? Oh, Susan Wiles. This is an interesting one. And you know what? Actually, Chris, let's play. You sent these over earlier. I think we need to read these first when it comes to Trump's campaign picks and media stuff.
Yeah.
Patrick, I'm going to put these on the screen here. They're images on the right. If you want to read these quick.
Aha. Statement from Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita on media speculation about transition efforts.
Date?
November 13th, 2023. What? Okay, okay, let's read it. Recently, national publications have printed news stories about the constructs of a presidential transition for President Donald J. Trump's return to the White House. The narrative in these stories has ranged from the types of qualifications of individuals who will be hired in a new administration, the policies that will be implemented and in what order, and the way the transition process will be undertaken and who will lead it. The efforts by various nonprofit groups are certainly appreciated and can be enormously helpful. However, none of these groups or individuals speak for President Trump or his campaign. We will have an official transition effort to be announced at a later date. Therefore, these reports about personnel and policies that are specific to a second Trump administration are purely speculative and theoretical. Any personnel lists, policy agendas, or government plans published anywhere are merely suggestions. Likewise, all 2024 campaign policy announcements will be made by President Trump or members of his campaign team. Policy recommendations from external allies are just that, recommendations.
Got another one here.
As President Trump's dominance in the Republican Party grows and his path to beating Joe Biden widens, we are seeing more and more stories about various groups' intentions for leading a Trump transition. These stories are neither appropriate nor constructive. President Trump and his campaign are singularly focused on beating Joe Biden and achieving victory next November. While we understand fully the value of planning a transition back to the Oval Office, these press reports are largely unfounded and an unnecessary distraction from the work we are doing to defeat the most corrupt and incompetent president in what is the most consequential election in the history of our country. Unless a second-term priority is articulated by President Trump himself or is officially communicated by the campaign, it is not authorized in any way.
One more from another date.
December 8th, 2023, statement from Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita on media speculation about transition efforts. Several weeks ago, Trump campaign leadership released a memo about media speculation about presidential transition efforts and a second Trump presidency. Despite our being crystal clear, some allies haven't gotten the hint, and the media, in their anti-Trump zeal, have been all too willing to continue using anonymous sourcing and speculation about a second Trump administration in an effort to prevent a second Trump administration. Let us be very specific here. Unless a message is coming directly from President Trump or an authorized member of his campaign team, no aspect of future presidential staffing or policy announcements should be deemed official. Let us be even more specific and blunt. People publicly discussing potential administration jobs for themselves or their friends are, in fact, hurting President Trump and themselves. These are an unwelcomed distraction. Second-term policy priorities and staffing decisions will not, in no uncertain terms, be led by anonymous or thinly sourced speculation in mainstream media news stories. President Trump is solely focused on winning the Republican nomination for president and then defeating crooked Joe Biden in the general election. He is not interested in, nor does he condone, selfish efforts by desk hunters. There will be an appropriate time to focus on such matters after winning next November, and it will follow President Trump's lead.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because that was a long ass time ago. That was like a year ago. And
yeah,
like we're seeing that now. Everywhere.
So she's basically saying, stop listening to Cernovich. He's basically a homosexual drug addict.
Well, I didn't quite get that read, but
that's the subtext.
I can see why you would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, though, to say that a year in advance and be like, the only transition news there is comes from Donald Trump. Like, don't listen to all of these rumors.
Patrick's got a little cough.
Yeah, it's from all that reading.
Yeah, it's notable. And then again, why it's like he made it a point to come out and, hey, by the way, Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, these two guys that have been bitched about for the past 2 days, I'm not doing them. Even though the rumors of them starting didn't come from the Trump camp. It was just weird. Now I got to sneeze, Patrick.
No, I'm good. Oh, you have to sneeze.
Yeah.
That's a really long time ago. It's a really long time ago to come out and just warn us about all the speculation about the transition.
Yeah.
On Thursday evening, I believe, there was a big push with the Susie Wiles as chief of staff to make her Susie Wiles the deep state pharma lobbyist. and that was coming from all of the corners of the internet that we have discussed. She has a particular relationship with Ron DeSantis, and during the DeSantis op, whether Ron himself was kayfabe or not, certainly the people supporting him online were very unlikely to be part of that op. And if they are, all good, that can be sorted later. But there was anger that Susie Wiles had been this person that got very close to Ron DeSantis, and with a number of kind of conning players. She was old school, like close to Bush and some of these neocon dynasty families, and then was on the Trump team kind of unloading all her intel that she had gained over that time. And so they hated Susie Wiles. So to see her being attacked on the day she's announced as chief of staff is really interesting. And then there was also another thing about, there was some article pushed about how Donald Trump was kind of limit RFK's ability to deal with the vaccine stuff, being pushed by all the same people, all the people who did the blame Trump for the vaccine. People have to remember that Donald Trump for a long time now has been saying that he will remove all federal funding from schools and universities if they implement vaccine mandates or mask mandates. And the federal funding for public schools attached to the vaccine mandates, that's what makes everyone's kids get vaccinated, because they have to be able to go to school. Like their parents just can't make another decision. Well, if I don't get vaccinated, my kid can't go to school. Therefore, I have to get my kid vaccinated. You apply that to the entire society. That's a whole lot of money for pharma. So Donald Trump already killed that a long time ago. The idea he's going to just bend over for pharma now. There's a bunch of people. I'll grab you the article from, I think it was in the Telegraph UK. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, because what's interesting about that is, like, once he won the primary and he wasn't going up against DeSantis and the DeSimps, you never heard about, like, he never had to talk about the vaccine anymore. The only people making an issue about Trump and the vaccine were the DeSantis people. They were the ones trying to make an issue. Yeah. But when it comes to Susan Wiles, that is an interesting one. I didn't do much research on her until like very, very recently when she was named the chief of staff. I love how early they announced that. I don't know if that's typical. I don't remember this stuff from prior, like under Biden or Trump. I don't know how early you name your chief of staff, but I thought it was cool that he named a woman, just for the fact that it like takes away a lot of the sexism card or anything that they wanted to say, like from the left. I loved it. And if she's as good as advertised, that's notable. And then Chris, you sent over the story about her in the Jack Smith case, and that makes it even more interesting. Yeah, but let's pull up your article here quick first.
Yeah, and also it's worth noting about the strong women. Susie Wiles' nickname is the Ice Maiden, so it's so funny that Donald Trump won't surround himself with any brilliant or strong women, and then he like grabs an old school political operator at the top of her game called the Ice Maiden.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
That's funny. You're kind of tangentially bringing up Mark Cuban. He was a huge help to Donald Trump. Yeah, you were, because Mark Cuban, before the campaign came to an end, before the election, came out and said inexplicably Donald Trump is threatened by any strong, intelligent women. Strong, intelligent women are all over the freaking place in the Trump administration and politics in general. They're like half the population and they have the same amount of brains. So, it's expected that you'd have lots of strong, intelligent women. But why would anybody trying to hurt Trump say something so stupid? And if you look at Cuban, just one example, the cringe shit he did on the what was it, Colbert, just repeatedly beclowning himself. There is something to be said for some of these people potentially being agents of Trump as well, because Cuban, in my opinion, could have been such.
Yeah,
and Cuban was actually at the head of. Sorry, John. Cuban was actually at the head of the effort to move voting from small precincts into big voting centers, and he was the face of the offer to put NBA stadiums as the voting centers. And one of them in Fulton County was where we had the pipe burst and, Ruby Freeman and Wandrea Shea Mitchell. or
And
Moss. Sorry.
Moss, and that would be a good, reason for him to be working for the good guys, being coerced, because otherwise, the penalty for treason is, I don't remember what exactly it is, but I hear it's
You're not allowed to say it on the show. Yeah,
I know, right? I disavow myself and my shirt.
Cuban's Shark Tank partner is also a major media figure, like pro-Trump pundit on CNN and some other networks. That I think his name's Kevin O'Leary or something.
Why can't we say what the penalty for treason is on the show?
We can. It's just there's no
we were
point.
joking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like news to me, but with Mark Cuban especially, I could totally see where you're coming from, Patrick. It's either like they're white hats and they're just trying to like be clown themselves on purpose, or they're like black hats and whatever they have on them, they're forced to just be clown themselves because they have no. It's like a gun to their head. I'm going to make myself look like an idiot. What he did with the DEI stuff on Twitter, while simultaneously owning the whitest NBA team in a mostly black league, was just insane to me. I couldn't believe he was doing it. But the Mavericks were consistently the whitest team in the NBA year after year for decades.
Whoa, whiter than the Celtics?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, you go look it up. He had routinely the whitest team in the league, and the NBA is a mostly African American league. It's facts.
Because the wokest people are the whites. It's so gross.
Yeah, but then when it moved into he looks just like Rachel Maddow, it became like meme territory, and then they just like, you got to stop, dude. That was hilarious. But I did not see this article. This is notable. Trump campaign. This came out 2 days ago.
Okay, so we're gonna watch the Telegraph do a wrap-up smear. Headline. Yeah, there was a guy in the medical freedom movement who posted this with his comment being, "You just can't make this up. You got duped again, MAGA, you dumb buttholes." All right, anyway, Trump campaign quietly distances itself from RFK Jr. after new vaccine safety comments. Republicans concerned former independent candidate struggle to make it through security clearance for top government role.
What?
Is there a...
Why would he struggle to make it through security? Do you think Trump's going to give a F about security clearance for any of his picks this term? Like, no. He's not going to care what the security apparatus says about the people he's trying to get through.
I want to ask about that, because I remember during Trump's first term when he was picking all his people, this is what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but apparently the intelligence community, this is what I was fed by Mike Cernovich, so just take this with a grain of salt. The intelligence community gets to veto staffing choices.
Well, it depends. Like for Senate confirmed picks, the Senate is the ones.
I'm talking about staffers, not Senate level stuff. I mean staffers.
I suppose it very well could be true. I've never heard
that's
that
the
before.
case, then we're not governed by elected officials. We're governed by permanent spooks.
But
I remember thinking that at the time.
I don't know. I just feel like there'd be so few people that would get through if that were the case.
And it's probably, well, yeah, but that is true though.
Well, how did the Iranian one get through? The one who's like literally linked to Iranian terrorists. Like you would think
I think the Iranian terrorists actually work for the CIA.
Yeah, but still, like that was brought up by a lot of people. You would think that they would, if they flagged that, because they must have been the ones who flagged it, that they would have shut that down. So I feel like they can flag stuff, but they have no direct control whether it still gets approved or not.
I think that I just think we're speculating. I don't really know how any of it works. I don't know how staffing. What is due process for a staffer to get into the White House?
I don't know. Probably about the same level of due process you get here at Badlands. Just like.
No, I think it's a lot more.
You seem all right. We'll keep bringing you in.
You got me. I don't get hired at the White House. The CIA tells me to go fuck myself.
Well, not if you show up in the interview in that shirt, man.
That's true. They'd get me right then. They'd be like, "You are clearly White House material, Mr. Gunnels."
But this actually reminds me of who I wanted to mention earlier before we dig into the Susan Wiles thing. Earlier tonight, so Ezra Cohen-Wannick has been doing these Twitter spaces a lot lately with Joshua Steinman, I think his name is, and they're really interesting. They talk a lot of like NSC stuff, like big picture stuff. It's been very interesting to listen to. And some of the guests they bring on, they brought on Derek Harvey tonight, That's a Devolution name. Somebody who was part of the team that was working to get rid of the deep state from the NSC with, Bannon and Rich Higgins. You guys remember Devolution Part 22 or 23. But another name that came on tonight was KT McFarland. And KT McFarland, let me pull up her Wikipedia here. And I know it's Wikipedia, but again, it's just a quick overview, not digging in. She was the deputy NSA under Michael Flynn. Okay. So right at the beginning, Michael Flynn, who brought Ezra into the White House or into the NSC, same with McFarland. She was asked to step down by Flynn's successor, H.R. McMaster, just like pretty much everybody else that I've written about in that Part 23. But Trump tried to make her the ambassador of Singapore, and she got flagged by the Senate, and the Senate's like, yeah, we're not going to do this. And when you look into it, it's because of some of the stuff that she said regarding the Russiagate thing. And let me show you this, what she actually said here, because it's pretty interesting.
By the way, there was a really cool, important article during the Trump first term. I don't remember the publication, but it was called "The Man Who McMaster Couldn't Fire," and it was referring to Ezra Cohen Watnick.
Yep. Yep. Right about that. Okay, right here. This is during Robert Mueller's investigation. Read this paragraph.
You got it. On December 1st, I'm assuming 2017, Robert Mueller's special counsel investigation named McFarland as one of the people involved with Michael Flynn, her former supervisor, and Jared Kushner in developments leading up to Flynn's guilty plea for lying to the FBI. In particular, the investigation found that Kushner and McFarland had briefed Flynn on what to say about U.S. sanctions on Russia against Russia. The next day, an email McFarland wrote during the transition surfaced. It read, "If there is a tit for tat escalation, Trump will have difficulty improving relations with Russia, which has just thrown USA election to him."
That's the notable part right there. And that's what they flagged and ended up preventing her from taking the nomination. That whole thing.
That's really weird.
Yeah, I thought so too. But she was on with Ezra tonight.
Context. I would want a lot of context.
Yeah, I did not. I found this like 10 minutes before the show, so I didn't find that context. But
yeah, wow, pretty darn interesting.
Yep. Okay, but anyway, she was on that space with Ezra Cohen Watnick tonight. So I would encourage you guys to check those out. They've pretty much all been pretty interesting. I think Ghost, you said something in one of the chats earlier today too. Let me see if I can find that. Oh yeah, it was something KT McFarland said. Right here. KT McFarland just said something fascinating as they're talking about energy. Biden undoing everything that Trump did catapulted the price of oil from $40 to $100 a barrel, and that empowered Russia to fund the Ukraine war. So
funny how those things work out.
Yeah, that is a good find. Okay, let's do Susie Wiles quick, and then with Susie Wiles being everything we already said about her, it was this story that you sent over that I thought was pretty damn notable.
From ABC News, top Trump campaign aide identified as key individual in classified docs indictment. Sources. This story is from 2023. Okay.
Yep.
One of the top advisors on Donald Trump's 2024 campaign is among the individuals identified but not named by special counsel Jack Smith in his indictment against the former president for allegedly mishandling classified documents after leaving the White House and obstructing the government's efforts to retrieve them. Sources familiar with the matter told ABC News. Susie Wiles, one of Trump's most trusted advisors, leading his second re-election effort, is the individual singled out in Smith's indictment as the PAC representative who Trump is alleged to have shown a classified map to in August or September of 2021. Sources said.
That right there, I'm pretty sure if this is what I'm thinking of, because remember everybody's like, there's this audio recording of Trump like lifting up a paper and talking to people and like shuffling papers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Susie? Is that the same scenario? Because if so, that's interesting because she comes back around, is now the chief of staff, if some Devo stuff went on here, like we believe, like he didn't really do, he just showed his new chief of staff a map. You know what I mean? If that even happened at all. But I thought that was very interesting. Let's see if I can find that clip. But yeah, anyway, Susie Wiles.
Let's put up these Callie Means tweets because they went after for the vaccine. He says Susie is the best possible choice for Maha, which is a view universally agreed upon by anyone who knows the players. And someone asked him to please explain more about that, and then we have his explanation right here. There's going to be articles and sniping on everyone. We just had a 24-month campaign. It is unambiguous to anyone with knowledge, Bobby, Nicole, etc., that she is the best choice to deliver on President Trump's reform agenda. It is a big win. I don't really want to get into litigating inaccurate press articles. I can say unambiguously this was clear cut. Ask anyone you trust with actual knowledge of the process. Now, I think all of this is very interesting. I really am starting to become, I don't know if concern is the right word. And obviously, I assume Donald Trump has this stuff under control. But it's just awfully strange how many people are communicating on behalf of what the Trump administration is going to do who don't seem to have been elected or chosen by anyone. I mean, if Donald Trump's been in the background the entire time and is orchestrating this, then so be it. But it's not the people making these choices.
Yeah, I think I found the story. First of all, you're totally spot on. But listen to this. I think this is what I'm talking about. Do you remember this recording? Listen to the audio from a 2021 meeting in Bedminster, New Jersey that CNN has exclusively obtained, revealing former President Trump discussing holding secret documents he did not declassify.
I remember it. He was bragging about it. You heard the rustling of papers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They have obtained what is expected to be a central piece of the government's case against Donald Trump. The actual audio recording of the former president talking as if he's showing a highly classified document on U.S. war plans against Iran with people not clear to even know it exists, let alone what's in it. In a moment, only on CNN, you will hear what jurors will hear one day. The recording was made 2 summers ago, July 2021, at the former president's club in Bedminster, New Jersey. You will clearly hear the former president as he is speaking to several people. According to the special counsel's indictment, they include a writer working on Mark Meadows' memoir, the publisher, and 2 of Trump's staff members. The president was aware he was being recorded. This is the first time it is being played publicly.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
Well, it started right at the
beginning. When Milley's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in. That's right. Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Milley, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look, this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah.
I just found. Isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, Except it is like highly confidential, secret. There's secret information. Look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time.
she'd send it to Anthony Weiner,
Yeah.
the pervert. By the way, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I was just saying because we were talking about it, and
I mean, that sounds like an older woman. That could be Susie Wiles right there, guys.
Why don't we just? You know what? It's very hard to get her. She never goes on mic.
She didn't talk at the
not a
the
word.
acceptance or whatever.
Not a word. She very specifically said, "No, I don't want to talk. Thanks."
I don't know. Trump trap is what it reeks of to me, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
let me find it.
Yeah, see if we can find it. Was there anything else we're gonna go into tonight?
One more interesting Susie Wiles thing, just to flesh out the kind of conning DeSantis thing history. There was it was mentioned in this article in Politico this week. 5 things you need to know about Susie Wiles. This entire section right here is interesting because, you know, they always try to diminish people. They haven't done the exact job they're being hired to do before, because of course in the regime political infrastructure, they have people who are like trained up into these different roles. They're promised positions. So it's all, there's a case why this person makes complete and total sense. When it's Trump doing any of these things, it's like, oh, well, she's never done anything like this before. So the truth is she's probably going to be absolutely terrible. You know what? They shouldn't even hire her. And Trump supporters, you should let Donald Trump know. Definitely don't hire this woman.
Yeah, we should definitely keep track of like how many mainstream media articles come out about Trump cabinet picks or whoever, and then how many like Con Inc. is like doing the same exact thing. When those two align, you know there's something up there.
I've got her talking about the 2020 election results.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how good this is going to be because this is thoroughly unvetted, but let's take a look. Hold for processing.
No problem. And then I'll get the audio ready for the other side.
I should have just sent you the link, but whatever. Cool.
Yep.
That's her, right?
Yep.
All right. Let's see what happens.
Perfect.
So anyway, I have super fast internet.
Just reload it.
Reloading it.
Going into Tuesday, so we're so glad to have you. So go through it, if you would. How did you structure this winning campaign? I mean, you are really a political pro. You micro-targeted, you looked at certain segments of the population, appealed to them, advertised to them, and you reached them. I mean, they voted for President Trump in numbers unseen. Just one example, it appears that 11 or 12% of black voters in Florida voted for President Trump. Who would have thought that? Probably you.
Actually 13%, which doubles the percentage he received in 2016. We knew going into this election that it really was time to change the Republican coalition. The traditional Republican voter coalition just simply can't, I don't believe, elect Republicans any longer.
Pause it.
Beginning to bring into the tent.
Is that her? Let's listen to this then quick.
Against you.
Well, it started right at the
beginning. When Millie's talking about, oh, you were going to try to do it. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in. That's right.
That's her.
I mean, it could be. It's really hard to tell for sure, but
it's the same voice.
Okay, Patrick said it's
done. You think yes?
No, yeah, same voice.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong, just like, awful.
We need a voice analysis, people.
I thought it sounded the same too, but
Bernie Bright said that's her. So if Bernie Bright and Patrick are on the same page about it, I'm all
Bernie Bright's like, that's it. That's the system.
Game over. So guys, yeah, if that's her, that is who Trump got caught showing super real classified documents to by Jack Smith, which they went all in on.
And Susie Wiles was named as the chief of staff the day after it was widely reported that Jack Smith was going to have to wrap up those fake indictments.
Yep.
What do you think that how did the MSNBC crew react to Jack Smith wrapping everything up?
That's a great
There was actually a really interesting video on that from Ken Delaney. I played it with CanCon on Daily the other day. I can find it again. Just some really interesting comments. And at the end of the segment, Ken Delaney and Andrea Mitchell had to mutually agree that Donald Trump was not actually a convicted felon because you don't become convicted until you are sentenced.
Wow.
You want me to find it? I'll find it.
You should find that. That's wild.
Hey, does anybody in the audience or any of you guys remember when Ken Delaney was on camera and then just all of a sudden he looks at his phone, he goes, fuck, cock, shit, fuck. And
find me that too.
I don't remember that. Yeah, please
never
find
found
that.
out what that was about.
Okay, yeah. That whatever that is worth watching for sure. Ken Delaney?
Yep.
Ken Delaney.
DIL. Yep.
Gosh, I'm always.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Boy, you're good at this.
Your
literally
search terms
typed
are
in.
fantastic.
Watching it in real time, John Harold and his research props.
Ken Delaney and shitfuck phone. That's what you get. Okay.
Delaney has some new reporting on something that we talked about at the top of the hour, how the Trump administration is handling the transition with the incoming Biden team, or not handling it, we should say, to a certain extent. This time, it involves our intelligence community. Ken, what have you learned, sir?
Oh, shit. Fuck.
Okay. I think we lost Ken for a second. Delaney has some new reporting on something that we talked about.
Good.
Fuck. Oh, shit.
That really was wonderful.
That's soundboard material. I got to save that. Oh my God, so good.
We still don't know what he was looking at. I don't remember. This was years ago. These people have been in a downward spiral for years now.
That was November of 20. That was 3
Holy
days,
shit.
2 days after
Oh my
Biden
God.
declared the winner. After the ODNI, which is Ratcliffe, said he won't work with Biden transition until GSA declares the winner. Crazy.
Boy, time flies when you are just having a blast watching your country get subverted.
So funny. All right, guys. Man, we got almost 17,000.
Oh, I think I found it.
Hit the thumbs up, everybody. Yeah, almost.
I did. John, I found this. Give me just 1 second and I can download it and then we can.
I forgot what you were
play
looking
this
for.
if you like.
Yeah.
The Ken Delaney thing talking about
yeah.
convicted felon.
Let's do it.
Yeah, here we go.
Where are you putting this?
Right there.
Vance, our legal commentator, said to me this morning, what's not going to happen is he's not going to face a jury of his peers who would evaluate the evidence and render a verdict. It's going to be lost to history whether a jury would have found him guilty of these very serious crimes, including conspiring to defraud the United States, obstruction of justice, moving to conceal evidence, and, of course, retaining highly, highly classified documents.
Ken, this is only the federal cases. What's going to happen at the state case?
Well, Andrea, Donald Trump's lawyers are going to make the same arguments in the state cases. Now, the Georgia case is mired in its own miasma and is not really going anywhere.
The New York case,
the New York case,
right.
right. So Judge Merchan is facing a sentencing hearing, and he's going to have to decide, and there may be an argument from Trump's lawyers that he should not pass sentence in that case, given that Donald Trump is about to take office as president. But really, there's a lot of discretion with the judge here. It's going to depend on what he decides to do.
I want to just point out, I want to talk that back. He's not technically convicted until he's sentenced. Correct, Ken?
That is correct. Under New York law, he's not a convicted felon technically until the sentence is passed and the judgment is entered, Andrea.
Haven't they called him a convicted felon for like the last 6 months?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
You should definitely put that on. You should definitely put that on the soundboard.
I'm going to. I didn't have time to do it yet, so that was the best you get. But man, I haven't used the soundboard once tonight.
Sometimes you need foul language to tell a great story.
I feel like that's been us tonight. We've been using a lot of words.
There's another good little Trump quote that Dan Bongino liked to use, where Trump goes, "You feel stupid."
I don't think I haven't seen that one.
Bongino used it all the time back when I listened to Bongino, which I did religiously until the 2020 election, and Bongino kept taking a paycheck from Fox News, and I just I wouldn't have it anymore.
Dan Bongino to me is like Scott Adams to you. I like Dan Bongino.
I like Dan Bongino too. I got mad. I got real mad at Scott Adams too. I bailed on his bald ass for like a year and a half.
But you went right back.
I did. Like
back to the
Turner, because I'm a bitch.
It's the bald heads. They just like
it is
attract each other.
They do.
But Anyway, we should go through some Rumble rants, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about tonight.
We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff during the rants. I'm sure everybody's got their own things to say.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want everybody to know, I want to do a spot for this when you're ready, John. Essential oil infused rainfall is now here. So I could do that right now. Guys, essential oil infused rainfall. That's right. Lavender essential oil infused rainfall is now available, which is amazing. Rose geranium essential oil infused, 8 ounces. Rainfall sandalwood essential oil infused, 8 ounces. Almond fragrance oil, 8 ounces. Guys, the essential oils in rainfall are changing the game for people. There's rose. It has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. The same with lavender. And one of the only complaints we ever got is, well, rainfall smells like aloe. It's kind of an earthy smell. Wow, these essential oils change the game completely, and it's good for your skin too. You got to check out Mr. Leota's skin before and after.
Weird thing to say.
You got to do before and after, guys. The skin is amazing. I think I put it in there and now it's just fucking gone. So.
Oh, I might have accidentally deleted that. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, no, that's okay, because I could put it right back in there. Guys, go to tulipblooms.shop. Check out these before and after pictures from Mr. Leota. Now, those of you who don't love the smell of aloe, all you got to do is go to tulipblooms.shop, and then you get the rose-infused rainfall, and you can literally smell like a rose. Do it at tulipblooms.shop. Promo code Badlands for 10% off. And remember, every time you use that promo code, guys, 25% of that sale goes directly into an account that pays Badlanders' salaries. Your skin will thank you. And I know I smell amazing right now.
Yeah, trying to see. We don't got any boosts for the Saturday show. So I'll just show you guys this real quick before we do the rants. Again, go to badlandsmedia.tv. Our conference is starting the 14th. That's this coming Thursday. Going to be a fantastic time. So looking forward to seeing everybody in person. It's going to be our biggest conference yet. We've sold more tickets to this than any others. Want to thank Love Litters for sponsoring this, by the way. If you can't attend in person, get your virtual ticket. Just click right here, virtual tickets to GART, and you can. It's basically like you're there. You'll get to see all the panels. You get some behind the scenes stuff. It's a fantastic time. And you get invited to a Telegram group, which is going right now. There's people joining in every single day. And that's most people's favorite part, because that Telegram group stays open for a while. Then also, if you scroll down a little bit, our next year's events are all posted now. March 6th to 9th in Vegas, May 1st through 4th in Plymouth, Massachusetts. We got Deadwood again in August 14th through the 17th, and Cocoa Beach, November 6th through the 9th. Ask anybody in the chat who's been to one of these events. They are fantastic. Everybody loves them. They're great. It's a great way to build our community, meet some like-minded people. And this one's going to be extra special.
Yeah, absolutely is. Hey, guys, we have a whole bunch of new people here. 17,000 of you watching. Do us a big favor. Hit that thumbs up in Rumble. Share it. Retweet it on Twitter. Just really helps us when you do that. Get us on the #1 spot on the leaderboard.
Yeah, and also tune in. We have content here every day, so make sure you're following our channel. Great content every day, all sorts of stuff. Whatever you're into, you can probably find it here, unless it's like weird stuff. Then it's not here. But if you're into good content, we got it here at Badlands. All right, Patrick, you want to read some of these?
I am all set, and believe it or not, I pulled up the Rumble rants. So the first one I have is $20 Moonshine Mitch.
There's one before that I want to make sure we don't miss, and it's from Andrew Rawlings, and it says, Patrick looks like an Easter egg wrapper I had in about 1980.
Nice. I was born 4 years before that. But yeah. All right. Next. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. $20 Moonshine Mitch. I wanted to thank you all. I believe if it weren't for podcasters and all the digital soldiers, Trump wouldn't have won. I'm very grateful. And thank you very much. We're grateful for you. $5 JEP 863 2020 versus 2024, still missing 18 to 20 million ballots, comparing 20 to 24. How many people died from the bioweapon versus how many millions of imported ballots of illegals? Isn't the number of illegals 15 to 20 million? Yes, these are facts. These are observations, theories that do happen to match the facts. Although I think it is important to avoid the ever-present affirming the consequent fallacy.
Did you miss G Doll frogs? Or did you read those and I just wasn't?
G Doll?
Like,
what's G Doll?
Like did you miss these three? Look on the screen.
Wow, that's terrible. It skipped them for me for some reason. $10. GDAL frogs. I live in Nevada. When I went to bed after 12 a.m. November 5th, Sam Brown was winning over the next few days. It has been stolen from him. He was a Purple Hat recipient, but he conceded. So mad. Don't concede stolen elections. If you do, I'm just going to assume you were in on it.
That's a good point.
Next, $10. J.S. Valada. Washington State is the most fraudulent state in the country. We are a mail-only ballot state. You cannot vote in person in Washington. It's been a mail-in only state for decades. What a friggin'
Are you serious?
Yeah, Washington State is the worst.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's insane.
Yeah, I think
Seth
Oregon is the same way.
Seth gave me an interesting little fact about that Washington State thing, because we were explained that it was explained to us that the 2020 turnout was a factor of the more universal use of mail-in ballots. And he basically made the point that Washington State had changed over to all mail-in ballots, and it did not actually spike their turnout in any way. So,
too weird for words.
So what does that equate to with 20? So it wasn't mail-in ballots that stole it in 2020.
That would be the takeaway from that. Yeah. That like the fact that they were made mail-in is not what convinced more people. The convenience is not what made more people fill out their very real vote and send it in.
Very gotcha. Well done. I love that. $1. Keith O'Higgins. Could the missing 10 million plus voters all have been vaccinated? We lose 3 million people to death each year, and birth rate is still around 3.2 million a year legally.
Hey, that's going to be going down now that all the liberals are no longer having sex.
I'll tell you what, man. I was last night with man, what do you call the nurse that like helps birth the baby? I don't know what the name is. But
a doula?
But anyhow, no. Like she works in a hospital. Whatever.
OBGYN?
It doesn't matter what the word is. Something like that. Who the person?
A birther person.
That helps that. Yes. She was saying that not only were less women getting pregnant in general, fewer women were getting pregnant in general, but that the instances of stillbirth and miscarriage had been going up pretty dramatically over the last few years. She said that was totally a real thing.
So this is somebody you know? Yeah. I think they call Ellen.
This is someone I've known for a few years.
So labor and delivery nurse.
Yeah.
There you go. That's exactly what it is. Sorry.
I think we were right with what we said before. You didn't have to get that specific, Patrick. But no, my sister and her like 3 closest friends, every single one of those friends had an issue with their pregnancy. They were all vaccinated. They're all in the health industry, so they had to get vaccinated. Every single one of them. Like, what are the odds that 3 for 3, they all had with around the same time period after being vaccinated, they all had issues with their first
That's
child.
Amazing. It really is important to keep an eye on stories in your own life because they're the ones you know. And that's useful because I don't really know humans anymore. I kind of just stick to you guys and my wife and kids. So
we're not really human. We're just internet.
I know,
people.
right? I don't spend a lot of time going out into the world and learning about people. So hearing that really gives me more information than anything in any newspaper could ever do.
Yep.
All right. Next. The next one would be John Henry Bonzo, and mine also has John Henry Bonzo. So I'll switch to him and switch to this. It should be fine now. $10. John Henry Bonzo. The clarion call of our awakening is we require an election apparatus that conveys the will and intent of we the people. We are grateful for your pursuit of truth. Be well and press on. Thank you, John Henry Bonzo. I would go further. I would say I'm looking for an election infrastructure that will implement the will of Patrick Gunnels in particular. That's what I'm looking for.
I don't even know if I'd go that far, though, but I get what you're saying.
$5, Julie J.N. We had a training today in my area to learn how to cure ballots because of the Duarte Gray race. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. Did ask if there would be another training.
What does it mean to cure a ballot, by the way?
I think it means to, when it's in doubt, when you don't know what the voter's intent was, you find out what the voter's intent was. You cure it. You cure it of its ambiguity.
Ballot vaccinations. Maybe that's a new way we could discuss them.
Possibly you could call it ballot intent reassignment surgery.
There you go. So you have to trust the people that are doing the curing, that they are doing them legitimately, at so they could steal in so many areas, including through the curing.
Yeah.
It's friggin' nuts, man.
It's almost like they set up every single part of the system to allow them to steal it through that part if they needed to.
And the other part, and make it completely freaking impossible to catch them in the act.
Yep.
Don't.
I don't want to get kicked off YouTube, guys. Can you please stop talking about election?
I know, right? It's like your Tim Pool. That was so based when freaking Bannon comes in. He says, I felt like I was talking to Tim Pool.
Yeah.
Bitch. All right. It's crazy how many people are willing to just celebrate and throw shade on those that want full exposure before celebrating. There are so many anomalies in voting for Trump, but down ballot steals. I agree completely. And I'm celebrating. I am celebrating. I just think everything's fake and gay.
Yes.
Okay.
Both can be, you can do both at the same time.
$2. Dawn's breaking. Invitation to all Badlands fans in Pittsburgh area, our 11th meetup. Wow, 11th. Dang.
That's awesome.
It's tomorrow, 5 p.m. Join Pennsylvania Badlanders on Telegram. PA Badlanders on Telegram. PA, new word, Badlanders on Telegram for more info.
You know what?
Guys, better get to Pittsburgh now before it turns into a frozen tundra that almost killed me 20 years ago. $1.
Well, hold on. But before we move on, so you guys need to figure out a way to get in touch with me. I want to be I want to start hearing about these meetups because I want to start going to these on the weeks I don't have my kids. I want to go to random meetups with Balance. That'd be so fun. I'm so happy you guys are doing this 11th meeting. Congratulations,
dude. Okay, so we had the meetup over at Paradigm, just north of here in Tomball, and it was fabulous. I love it so much. 25 of you showed up.
Wow.
And it's like a little teeny sliver of GART just to tide you over until the next GART, or tide me over in the next GART. Because every time I leave GART and I go back into the world and people aren't, telling me how awesome I am, I hate that. Okay.
That's one of my favorite stories that Bernie Bright says. I don't know if you want me to repeat it, but I'm going to anyway. When you two were at coffee in line at one of the GARTs, and people came up and gave you a hug or something, and then they left, and you're like, the worst part about this is when I go home and get coffee, not one person comes up and recognizes me or something like that. This is my favorite story ever.
And I resent that.
Yeah.
$1. Jack 71113 today the ACLU was trying to get the Arizona Supreme Court to extend the ballot curing time. I'm not sure what the Arizona Supreme Court's answer was, but tonight local media are calling the Senate for Gallego with 440,000 ballots left. Arizona guys, we need to watch this happen in real time. We need to see it. The people of Arizona need to get just furious enough to start demanding that their law enforcement officers put a stop to this. It's going to take muscle, and the civilized muscle in our society is the dudes with badges and guns. They need to go into those vote counting centers and start slapping handcuffs on people. $1. Keith O'Higgins. The narrative on late ballot counting in California and contested seats is they have until Tuesday, November 12th, to allow mail-in ballot verification. California's snail mail protection racket. What a freaking cluster. Unreal. $5. Curtis Good. Hey, Chris. After several months of saving up money after meeting you at GART Dallas, I'm glad to say that I've upgraded my free subscription to founding member to your Substack. That is fantastic.
Thank you very much, Curtis. Yeah,
gotta listen to the end game. Chris, you still call it the end game, right?
I do.
Awesome.
Well, yes. Yeah, and you can find it right there at the address that you see on screen where it says podcast at imyourmoderator.substack.com. It's on Daily the other day. People were like, Chris has a podcast? I'm like, how is this happening?
That's kind of nuts. It's the internet's best kept secret. I've said that before. I'll stand by it.
Yeah,
John,
thank you very much.
John, do you remember Quinny's meetup?
Yes, I do. That was nuts.
That was so freaking epic. And this is a work in progress right now.
We need more of those. Yeah.
One of the people at the meetup, the Badlands meetup down here in Houston, has a bar that I think is of a similar personage capacity as Quinny's bar. We might be able to put something together that's kind of like legit.
We should do that. Is personage capacity the official term used by people when?
Yes, it is, and I'll stick to that.
Okay.
I'll go down with that ship. $1, Keto Higgins. Elon told Jordan Peterson he worked actively to end wokeness and support Trump after his son Xavier was given hormones for sterilization without full transparency and estranged his son's relationship. If that's, yeah, I've heard that story. I wasn't 100% sure it was true. Does Elon have? By the way, he has like 13 kids. I've heard.
Yes, one of them is a transgender.
Okay, so that's 12 left who can make babies. So I mean, he's, for the most part, he's still okay. $17, Resolute 23 Patriot. Badlands election desk rightly called Alaska for Trump early, 3 electors. Soon after, Pennsylvania was called for Trump by legacy media, bringing tally to 267. Q 270. Q stopped the fraud in 16 and 24.
I like how we're being included in a Q proof. I love that, actually. But yeah, the Badlands election desk is like the best decision we ever made.
That was good.
Loved it.
The fact that you used the America Fuck Yeah sound clip for it too.
1,000,000 times. Yeah, that was great. That was fun. A lot of fun.
$5. S Hole. I like coffee black and my tea in the harbor. As do I. I like tea though. I like tea as well. $5. Begs 909. Kamala had $1 billion from July until November and ended up $20 million in debt. What the fuck? Campaign dollars should be audited and every expenditure recorded to the penny. But what about when they buy cocaine? Do they need to record that? I say no. That would get them in hot water. $15, 1027 JS. Thanks, guys. Always enjoy your analyses. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
$10 back quarter. Yo, mama. Yo, mama back. $10 PJW. We are watching a movie. Open them both and tell me who gets the last call. John, you got a hold of that?
I think so.
Brilliant. Next, $1 Keith O'Higgins. What kind of vendor waits 4 years for reimbursement? Maybe the vendors in Ukraine who've been paid since the Maidan color revolution in 2014, who see the money faucet being turned off. Yeah, okay, Keith O'Higgins. You're onto something there. There's something very covert about that Truth Social thing that Trump was posting. He's telling us something. I don't know what it is.
I have the drop up. It's the 53 to 47, and then the other link shared was the Senate race and what it's going to end up being. I'm just going to go down to the projection here. They don't have what it's going to end up being. But it looks like it might end up being 53 if PA works out the way, 53-47, which is
that whole Pennsylvania thing. They're just saying, okay, so here's the deal, guys. Counting gets really, really slow, like when it's super close, because it means we can make up enough ballots to steal it. It's not even subtle. They're doing it right in front of us.
Yeah, it's pretty
nuts.
The
Dave McCormick thing in Pennsylvania is really interesting because he ran in the primary for the 2022 Pennsylvania Senate election, where Donald Trump essentially chose Dr. Oz as the Republican candidate, and then vaccine stroke victim John Fetterman, who couldn't speak and had to listen through a computer, actually ended up winning that fake election. So if he had put Dave McCormick forward in that cycle, then he wouldn't have been able to have the ridiculous John Fetterman as a fake election victor,
who has
in
been
2022.
amazing, by the way.
Patrick,
Yeah. So narrative necessity back then.
Patrick, what's the quick math on the Libertarian, Green Party, and Constitutional Party totals here?
You mean like add them up?
Yeah, 88,
So
64, 23.
So 90 plus 90, call it 180,000.
Okay, check this out. I'm just guessing. I haven't even looked at this yet, but I'm just guessing. If I go here, I mean, that's a substantial difference. This is who voted for president.
66,000 right there. Chase Oliver and Jill Stein.
Yep. But that's quite a few who went in and voted for the Green Party president, or didn't vote for the Green Party president, but did vote for the Green Party Senate candidate. And I bet, was there a governor's race here? Right? Yeah. Oh, no. I'm thinking there was a House race there.
John, with my spreadsheet prowess and your, dogged attention to detail, the two of us together could do some like Seth Keshel level stuff on this election.
Does sound like a lot of work, but I'd probably be down.
It is a lot of work, and both I got lotion to make.
Okay, let's see. Green Party for House. Here we go. This is what I was looking at. Just real quick, see if there's any. Because in North Carolina, there was a few of these situations where like a random Green Party candidate would show up and get a bunch of votes, but not a single one in any of these races. That's interesting. Okay, well, whatever. Let's get back to the rants.
Moving right along. $50. P.W. Herford. People must have a solid voting system for this nation to exist. Nation must have an informed, engaged populace for the system to exist. Fixing the vote easier than controlling grassroots narrative. Agreed. Absolutely. By the way, this nation can exist just fine with a king. I know it's controversial. I am offering myself. I'm throwing that out there. Okay. The Auntie Karen is now a monthly supporter. Thank you so much, Auntie Karen.
I love anti-Karens.
$1. Keith O'Higgins. Sessions and Durham were and are the most confusing pieces on the chessboard of Trump politics. Were they pawns or are they knights? Je ne sais pas. $47. D-Tech. Haven't donated in a while. Thanks for all you guys do. It's been a crazy ride. It would be great after 120 for a curtain call. All the actors come out and take a bow. Wishful thinking, right? That is a great way of putting it. Q Digger in the chat just said I need to do more epic threads from Will Zoll. And yeah, I promise you, I'm getting to do a massive Prussiagate binge. It's going to be epic, so check that out. $1. Keith O'Higgins. Ironic point about Susie Wiles is she's Pat Summerall's daughter, and late in Pat's career, he turns to John Madden and screams, "You can't advance a muff." Classic sports, now political quotes ever. Chris, I don't know what that means. What does it mean you can't advance a muff?
Muffed punt, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll find this.
What's a muff punt?
It's like when you muff the punt, like you mess up the punt.
Okay.
So yeah, like if you are attempting to field a punt and it goes through your arms and the ball ends up ahead of where you made that error, you're not allowed to be credited for those. You're not allowed to be credited for those yards when your team recovers it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'll find this quote and then.
I mean, I now that I know, I definitely don't care. $5. Mike Irons. Patrick's shirt looks like the pool water down at the rec center Biden used to work at. Corn Pop was known to let his soul glow from time to time. Thank you, Mike Irons. $1. Keith O'Higgins. SNL has plans to bring back Melissa McCarthy to play Susie Wiles for future skits. She was one of the only funny things to happen during Trump's presidency on SNL, because they went full retard. when she played Sean Spicer. God, I loved that. $1, Mark Bodiford, the Fed, if your group was Kyle. Thank you for the super chat. $5. I think he meant of your group. That's what it was. It was a preposition error. $5. The Q Awakening. Would it be possible to review November intersection? ECW, Flynn, Cash, Tata, etc. all came out swinging this week. Joint Chiefs exposure, lobbying, administrative state, and much, much more. You know, 2 of those 4 follow me on Twitter. Just saying.
Which 2? Tata and Flynn?
Flynn. Well, Flynn, come on, he follows everybody, but Tata, he follows me, and I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah, he's got me too, but the other one of those has me blocked. So yeah.
Cash, you have Cash blocking you. I've got Mr. Campaign friggin' Council on Foreign Relations, 6'5" tall Irish Wookiee Patrick Byrne blocking me. So for no reason.
Yeah, no reason. I can't imagine why he would block you after you just said such lovely things about him.
Oh no, I only started talking shit about him after he blocked me. I was like a fanboy before that.
Yeah. I do like this rant though, Q Awakening. For next week while we're in Myrtle Beach for the live Power Hour. This is something we could probably touch on. I was also kind of thinking we do a little what's next in terms of devolution, if it's going by the continuity government book, like what's the next phase and when might we see it? Are we seeing it? So we'll get into some of that a little bit on Saturday.
Can I just kind of quote, what about Bob? Baby step to January 20th.
Yes.
I just want to I feel like I don't want to jinx it. I just want a baby step to January 20th. I don't want Trump pulling a Trina. I just want him getting over the finish line. And then that's when you bust out the mass arrests and imprisonments.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming soon, but
January. I'll wait till January 21st. It's fine. Okay. Let's see. Got that one?
Wait 1 second. While we're speaking of timing, by the way, they're still intending to sentence Trump to prison 2 days before Thanksgiving. They're like, hey, you know what? We're just going to ruin everyone's holiday.
Yep. That'll be interesting.
For real, that would have ruined my holiday if another friggin' election fight. Do you remember how shitty the 2020 holidays were because of that crap? It was literally the worst.
I can agree with that. I don't even think I had a Thanksgiving in 2020.
It's just hard to think about. I have PTSD from 2020, and I'm saying that without a trace of irony. $1, Lou Frano. What anatomical hairy part, this starts well, is photographed for rainfall? Well, I sure am glad you asked. And the answer is arm. That's his arm. Sun damage, and then 2 weeks of rainfall use. The unpigmented skin that is clearly sun damage is gone. So yeah, that's his arm.
Was there like a question that might not have been his arm?
What else could it have been, actually, now that you put it that way?
I don't know. I mean, it was worth $1 Rumble Rant.
Could that have been his butt? I don't think so. That's clearly an arm. Yeah, definitely an arm. But now I'm thinking about like man parts, and it's making me look even gayer than this shirt is. So let's move on. $5, Vegas Deplorable 26. Somebody say Vegas, let's go. Gart Vegas. We should all show up in suits, Vegas style. Great show, gentlemen. Will be good to meet you in person. That will be delightful. Absolutely. Thank you, Vegas Deplorable. $1, Sam Morris 111. Is the Tucker alert true? A secret vote on Wednesday? I don't know what's true, guys.
Tucker alert?
I think Tucker's saying a secret vote for majority leader, I think.
By the way, yeah, that's probably true.
Is Charles Flynn resigning his position in the in the Pacific?
Yeah, I saw that too. Yep.
I saw it only in the chat. Did you see it somewhere else?
I saw it. Yeah, it's like news. It's
resigning and retiring are two different things. I want to know what
it's retiring.
Retiring.
I like retiring a lot better. I mean, he's not a spring chicken, I'm sure. Probably time to spend time with his family anyway.
He got put in there like shortly after I think it was like June of 2021 when he got in there.
Right. Yeah.
And I believe, don't quote me on this, I could look it up. Maybe I will later, but I believe they only serve like somewhere between 3 and 4 year terms anyway. Like that's like, I think that's standard. And then they're out of there. I mean, that's what they do for a lot of the combatant commanders. So I'd assume it's similar for like that level position with the Army too. But I will just look that up.
Yeah. $5, Joe Gilmore. Been wearing my Badlands hat while doing deliveries. Customer left a review. Let's go, Brandon. Obviously must have saw my hat. Badlanders are out here in the California desert. God bless California and its long-suffering citizens. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. $10, Some Geek. Pronounced it right this time. As always, the Saturday DPH is my favorite Badlands show. Love you guys. Patrick, it took me over an hour to stop having seizures looking at your shirt, but you honestly look damn good in it. Thank you so much. It wasn't even my idea to wear this shirt. Ashley said it's the first, my wife said it's first show after the stolen election. You need to go out, you need to go in style. I said, I'm gonna wear the freaking gayest shirt I can find.
If I snap my fingers, you forget that you ever gay.
Wow. Thank you for the generous super chat. $100. Paul Smith won. Great listening to you guys and great having you in our audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hold on, pause, Patrick. I looked it up. Charles Flynn, he served roughly a little less than, is that a 3-year term? 3 years. That's pretty average. 3 years, 157 days. 3 years, 161. Like you don't see anybody serving really more than that.
Okay.
3,
so
181.
Really pretty natural. It's normal then. And now he's going to go into consulting and be really, really, really rich.
Could be.
I mean, you got to assume. It's hard to turn down that shit.
A lot of the people do. Yeah. We'll see.
Let's see. $1 Tomahawk. Arizona needs to be invaded by the other 49 states to unfuck their shit. I agree. No, I don't agree about the invasion. I think the people of Arizona are going to have to tell their own law enforcement, we have a problem here because we can't vote our way out of this shit. You guys got to slap the cuffs. You need prosecutors going after these people. Unfortunately, the prosecutors are also owned by the cartel. I don't know what the hell you do when you have a closed circuit of corruption like Arizona. Maybe federal invasion is needed. It's horrible to think of.
That is a crime. People should be arrested.
Agreed. The Meerkat, $10. I prefer your analysis to your analysis by a whole lot. Thanks for letting me know I'm not alone in an insane world. It's just gotten too silly here in California. I keep playing America. Fuck yeah. Thank you so much, the Meerkat. Nice super chat. $10, Goethe, 77. Trust your instincts for Chris. And then some kind of an emoji that looks like a fan? I'm not sure. Thank you so much, Goethe. $1.
Maybe?
I don't know.
Let me see if I can copy this to something else.
I like this next super chat. $1, Guy, 5867. Patrick's shirt looks like a vertical Rumble rant list. A November to remember. Thanks, y'all. That is very, very good. Outside the box thinking there. Guy, 5867. And $5, Namster. Did I miss discussion about the early secret Senate vote next week for Senate Majority Leader before the changeover? We talked about it briefly. We don't have all the deets on it yet, so I'm sure the details will probably be made clear in the next few days. Yo, mama back.
Yeah, next couple of days. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday though. That's like what everybody's saying. Who knows if it's true, but that's what they're saying. But anyway, that's everything, guys. That's all the rants. Hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it.
Make us number one on the leaderboard. Hit thumbs up. Share it. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to subscribe to Badlands Media on Rumble.
There you go. Chris, you look concerned or something.
I was trying to find this the Michael Flynn quote about his brother's retirement or resignation. And I was unable to locate it despite having seen it on Telegram many times today. So I'm annoyed.
By the way, guys, Bitcoin right now is at 79,103. So go to badlandsmedia.tv/river. Get your Bitcoin now. All you need is $10. You get some sats. It's a lot. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next time you see us. We'll be live on the stage at Gart Myrtle Beach. So get your virtual tickets. You won't want to miss out on that, guys. Catch you later.
All right. Bye, guys.
Indeed.
Witness the motion picture event that is being called fucking amazeballs.
Do you see the difference in the M there?
It's go time. 25 lighter on my.
You got a seriously weird ass way of looking at shit.
If you look at the waviness of the little flag that comes out of the R is wavy. The one in the first hump in the M is not wavy. It's just a pure arc. Does that make sense?
We want to warn our viewers that these are extremely graphic images.
Give me a second, dude. This is more autistic than I've ever been before.